And good morning. It is a Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. And yeah, he's here. Still complaining about something related to video game golf. He's Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com.
It's pretty close to like a national holiday.
Because?
You have the goat on.
Oh, because Jim's coming on today?
Yeah.
The great Jim Nantz is coming on today. Yeah, Drew actually showed up early.
You have the goat.
Drew put a suit and tie on today. It was very strange.
You have the goat on this morning.
It's the only reason he's here, actually. He had said last week.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Florida.
Don't think I can make it in.
I'm going to Florida to play golf. It's the only reason I'm here. I changed my flight.
Rescheduled his trip.
Griffin sent me the thing, and he's like, Jim's coming on. Oh, man, I got to change my flight.
We were told we only have 12 with Jim today. So how long?
Give me 10.
I was going to say more.
Give me 10.
Like, if I ask a question at 10:09, he'll be off at 10:17.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Give it. Right.
It's
12 minutes.
Always the case.
We have to get all the questions in by 12 minutes, or how does that work?
Yeah. Drew's here. Yeah, Jim's going to join us.
Going to Florida.
What are you doing in Florida? Playing golf.
Of course. What's anybody do when they go to Florida?
The game's in Buffalo. You're aware of
You know what's funny? Honestly, a couple of my friends reached out, that aren't FCA connected, who didn't know I was going to Florida, and they're like, "Hey, let's go up there. Are you getting a bus? Are you like, what are you doing?" And I honestly would go.
You're a
I would.
psychopath.
I would go.
You're nuts.
I would go.
Not a chance.
It's very. I don't know. It's very appealing.
It's gonna come up. Is it? What's appealing about it?
It's a semifinal game.
Frostbite. That's what's appealing.
It is going to be cold.
Not being able to feel your fingers.
I have to say, it's funny because all the guys, everybody this week, it's been asking me if I'm going to Buffalo. Like, you're going to Buffalo? What are you going to do? Where are you watching the game? You want to take a bus? What do you want to do? I said, I'm going to actually watch the Ravens game.
Yeah, correct.
I will be at Quail Valley in Vero Beach Sunday at 6:30,
75 degrees.
watching the game, having just played 18 holes and enjoyed a cocktail.
Don't make this man wait any longer. He is, of course, as Drew
I had
says,
to change my flight to do this.
Drew says he's the GOAT, and it's hard for me to disagree about it. Sunday night, Ravens-Bills in the divisional round, 6:30. You're going to watch the game on CBS, and when you do, you're going to hear the voice of the great Jim Nantz, who is back with us this morning.
It's the return to
GCR.
glory.
That's exactly what it is. Jim, it's Glenn, and yes, Drew is here with me this morning. He rescheduled his entire week to spend some time with you.
Oh, my goodness. Hello, friends. You guys are the greatest. What a pair. You know, my affinity for both of you, and it's a big week. We had to do this. We had to talk. We had to have a little chat. Drew, thank you for rearranging your private flight. Appreciate it. They're waiting for you whenever you're ready. And, guys, I'm just on such a high right now, looking forward to Sunday at 6:30.
Jim, can I ask you this? Because
I heard the quarterbacks are good.
Yeah, I've heard they're good. It's one of the few
I've
things.
heard that.
Yeah. I've never asked you this question before. You broadcast in these open-air booths. What is your trick? Because it's going to be miserable on Sunday night. It's going to be 9 degrees outside. What is your trick for working in frigid cold temperatures?
Well, the truth is it is open air. We have a guy on our crew who fixes up the booth with heaters that you don't see. So we're kind of surrounded with a lot of assists. So you still feel it. The cold air blasts right at you there in that Buffalo booth, but we're fine. We are truly just fine. It's not like being out there on the field. We have heaters in the booth, and it won't be a factor, mercifully.
I did ask in part because Drew said if you need, he will come bring you soup. He will fly back from Florida in order to personally to give you some chicken noodle soup on Sunday night, if that's necessary.
Well, we do have that in the booth, by the way. We always have chicken noodle soup. I think it's just a good throat coat. You know, when you pop a vocal cord on a big call, on a wild Lamar scramble that dances around, pirouettes around 2 or 3 times and throws a touchdown, and your voice is gone after that, I hit the chicken noodles soup bowl. So, yeah, we're loaded with that too.
Jim, when you see these games, obviously you know as you're watching the rest of the league unfold and you're thinking to yourself ahead of time, hey, if Baltimore wins there and Buffalo wins, I think I'm going to be going. Like, when do you start putting together the game plan if, in fact, you're going to go? When do you start looking at that and kind of foaming at the mouth about the fact that you get to call one of the I mean, maybe the marquee game of the year, maybe more than the Super Bowl.
I'm going to tell you, I'm a schedule freak. There's a guy that runs our programming and scheduling. His name's Dan Weinberg. He's exceptional, and he lives it every day. And I'm just an amateur at this, but I love to talk matchups. I like to project, look ahead. And on December the 8th, when Buffalo on that day lost at the Rams and basically ceded the 1 seed to Kansas City, I knew they were going to be at the 2. I felt all along the Ravens were going to figure out a way to win that division and be the 3. So short of it is, for almost, by the time we kick it on Sunday, almost 6 weeks, almost a month and a half, I've been daydreaming about a divisional matchup between these two teams and hoping somehow it lands in our lap and we got the game, and I'm thrilled. You never know, because the league parcels out these schedules,
right,
and they try to make everybody happy. But it felt right that the primary AFC game, given we're the AFC network, should go to us. And the league fulfilled that, and here we go. We're going to be last up of the 4, and it's the one that everyone's talking about, as you know.
Jim, how do you measure? Obviously, the storyline is Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, the
you got to get Ramsey out here. He's about to start growling.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
Yep. So we got Ramsey here. Ramsey,
hi, Ramsey. Good morning, Ramsey. Jim,
boy.
How do you measure the fact that
I had this last week on a call, and I was live on a Zoom. Nat, you just made Baltimore, so you're big in Baltimore. And Ramsey, you're even bigger. Yeah, and then I did one of the all-time juggling acts of my life as the dog was barking, and I ended up just picking up the dog. Well, he's like 70 pounds.
And
we making him a part of the scene.
We're dog people, so we get
Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, we love it. We love the dogs. Jim, how do you measure, knowing this is the storyline that everybody in the country is talking about going to this game, Lamar and Josh Allen and the MVP debate, and clearly there's no doubt that you and Tony are going to discuss it during the broadcast, but then recognizing the game is so much bigger than that, right? Like, these are two teams that genuinely believe they have a chance to win a Super Bowl. How do you walk that line during the course of Sunday night's broadcast?
Well, it has to be a part of our discussion. The hardest thing in a live game broadcast is that you've got 20 seconds after one play ends, basically, you've got the next one going, and every play is a chapter in the book, and you don't know which chapter is going to be the pivotal one of the game. So you have to be careful. We're not like the pregame studio shows or the hot take shows that are running all week long where people can discuss these things unless our game gets out of hand. We did get into it pretty deeply in our Denver at Buffalo game this weekend. Mm-hmm. The game was out of hand. I made an appeal and I don't even know how this works, but they ought to be, anyone that has a vote ought to be given the right to wait and see this result before you cast a vote. I think that would be only fair. And as we go into this game, I could give you a compelling argument on either side. If you told me you think it's Josh Allen, you take the Lamar side, I think I could give you an argument that would defeat that. But if I flipped it and you took Lamar, I probably could give you an argument that would be pretty convincing on Josh's side. I actually said last week, but you've got this game, so I do think this should be the tiebreaker in the end. But man, there are 50 people that vote. I'm not one of them. Couldn't you get 50 people in a room if they weren't playing? Let's say they didn't have this chance to basically have one last battle to decide it. Wouldn't you be able to get 50 people in a room and say, do you really, any of you feel so strongly on one side of it, or can I bring everybody in and say they deserve to be co-MVPs? Because, that happened when Steve McNair was quarterbacking the Ravens, and he shared it with Peyton. And in the end, people don't remember that it was a co-MVP. Like, Peyton has 5 MVPs. No one ever talks about there were 4 outright and 1 shared.
Right.
He got 5 MVPs. I think Lamar deserves to have an MVP for this. I think this was his best year. I mean, he keeps taking it up another notch. I don't know where it can go from here.
Right.
It's incredible.
The funny
thing
I
also think Josh had an MVP year.
Right. And the funny part of it is when you say MVP, that also is a discussable point. They're all look. If you took Mahomes out of Kansas City, they win 4 games.
That's
If
right.
you take Goff out of Detroit, they win 4 games. Like the most valuable player is kind of a bad term. It should just be who had the best. It should be the most outstanding season of the year, and then it might be by an inch, but. I just think when you hear MVP, people get all caught up in that. Barkley could be the MVP of the league. He could be the most valuable player in the entire league. If he doesn't have the year he had in Philly, they might only have 5 or 6 wins. So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact they call it MVP. People get all worked up about that.
The NCAA tournament years ago got away from calling it MVP and made it the MOP. No one ever really picks up on that, but it's called Most Outstanding Player.
Right.
Your point. So I would be I would be very happy if they split it. However, I'm saying that going into a game that one of them could really excel and clearly look like they deserve it. Now, all of that tossed aside, I know both of these guys really well. I feel like I do, and I admire them both as players and people. They both would give that away in 2 seconds if they had a chance to be in New Orleans. And go play for the Super Bowl. That's what it's ultimately all about, is that getting there. And both of these teams, as you both know, are capable of winning this thing. I think, look, everybody's looking past Houston. We're all assuming the championship game on the AFC side is going to be in Kansas City. You never know. I mean, I expect it to be in Kansas City, but we never know. They've come off a 25-day break or whatever it's going to be. And they're going to play against the Houston team with nothing to lose. I mean, just imagine that for a minute. We go into that game Sunday night knowing the winner of this game gets to host the next week for the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
it could happen.
No
I don't expect it to happen, but it could happen.
The great Jim Nantz is with us. Of course, Ravens-Bills Sunday night on CBS. Jim, what's the non-quarterback storyline? Because that's all we're talking about. Like, not just in Baltimore and Buffalo, across the country. What's the non-quarterback storyline that perhaps is most interesting or most compelling to you going into this game on Sunday?
I mean, if you're going to go for individuals, I think you have to go to the 2 coaches. McDermott he doesn't have the tenure yet that John has, and John Harbaugh is one of my all-time favorite coaches and people I've ever interfaced with in the NFL. They're both great coaches, but I think the underlying story. I know the quarterbacks get all the attention, but it's just this idea that you're still this game, another game, and one more game after that away from winning the Super Bowl. And I really think that both of these teams are capable of winning it all. We know Buffalo's beaten the 2-1 seeds. They knocked off both Kansas City and Detroit. The rest of the league was 2-30 against those 2 teams. But when I watch Baltimore at its best, and now that the defense has the second half of the season, typical John Harbaugh, he did whatever he had to do. Zach Gordon, his first year as D coordinator, Dean Pease coming over, Kyle Hamilton being moved down a little bit. I mean, their second half numbers are great for the defense. I thought for a part of the year, that would be the one thing that might keep him from going all the way. But Baltimore looks unbeatable to me. I mean, they really at times look absolutely unbeatable. And I know, though, at the same time, how hard it is to go up to Orchard Park and win. So, I mean, let's have at it. This game could have been for the Super Bowl. If they were in opposite conferences, this would be a storybook, Super Bowl matchup, much less an AFC championship matchup. And it has to happen in the divisional round. Kind of too bad, but here we go.
Well, and it's a little bit, for those of us who are old enough to remember, it's a little bit Chicago Cubs and Boston Red Sox kind of stuff with the Bills. Haven't been to a Super Bowl in 30-some years. Have never won one. Got there. Scott Norwood, the whole thing, right? Like, that people forget that they've I consider them to be a fairly storied franchise in the league, certainly in my lifetime, and they've never won a Super Bowl. I mean, this would be, if they somehow navigate their way through these last 3 games, this would be a Cubs-Red Sox kind of thing in my lifetime.
100%. 100%. The Bills Mafia is still looking for that first one after 4 straight years of going in the early 90s. and never having, the ultimate ring to show for it. Meanwhile, you guys in Baltimore come along, and I've been there for both of your Super Bowl wins. One is the host, and one is the play-by-play caller, and I got to present the Lombardi Trophy on both occasions. And I mean, the success rate that's going on in your city, in Charm City, is, it's off the charts. You know how many cities in this league would kill to have what you guys have had for the last 28 years? People would kill for this success.
We try to remind our fan base of that sometimes, that they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They want to win this year, next year, the year after.
Right. That's the nature of a fan, but the success rate is phenomenal. And there's more to come. I mean, this could be another one.
Yep.
And, by the way, I've had more games up there this year in Baltimore than I've had in a long, long time. And I'm really happy about that. We were there for Denver. We were there for Washington. And help me out here, guys. We were there for one more.
There
game.
was one more. I know.
We were there for Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was going to say, you did the Eagles game.
Yeah.
Right.
So we
we did 3 of the home games this year.
Right.
We would like for there to be one more next week.
Right.
And that could happen. Maybe that was a harbinger of what's to come.
We'd like that to be the case. Jim, I know we got to let you go to do more of these, but we have to say 500 games, man.
Oh, thank you.
May there be 500 more. First of all,
it's not 500 games. It's 500 outstanding games.
That's correct. That's
not
correct.
just 500.
Congratulations.
You're so kind. But you know what? 501. Somebody asked me the other day, which one's your favorite game? And I say the next one.
No doubt.
The next one. Whatever. I get as fired up now for game 501 as I did for game 1. And it's all been a blessing. I've enjoyed it all so much. In fact, I enjoy it more now than ever. And thank you for saying that. I'm glad that after last week there was way too much fanfare about that. I'm glad I can go into this game with more attention diverted from that storyline and on the field as it should be. And I appreciate it. The thing that means the most to me about it is that CBS is the original NFL broadcast partner of the league back to the 50s. We were the ones that had the famous Allen touchdown in 1958. Right. And we were the original NFL telecaster. And you look at some people that have done play-by-play through the years. And that would be, Pat Summerall, Dick Enberg's last 10 years, Vern Lundquist, Kurt Gowdy ended his career there. Al Michaels started there. Bob Costa started there. Ray Scott, Jim McKay from Baltimore. Yep. Used to do games back, 60-something years ago. Jack Whitaker. And now you take today's modern-day announcers, and I'm the first to call 500 games play-by-play. Pat did more games. Summerall did more games. He was a mentor and a dear friend. But Pat did a number of games, started his career as an analyst. So the number for play-by-play was in the 400s at CBS. But I somehow miraculously got to stick around long enough to do 500, and I'm honored and blessed to be able to do this one at 501. It's a big one.
Speaking of miraculous, we're going to let you go on this. I'm closing my eyes, and I can just hear you say, they didn't think Tiger would ever win again, but here he is. He's got 2 feet for par at 18 here at Augusta National. The 2025 Masters is about to be his. I'm just...
He's speaking it into existence.
Please tell me you've already thought of the next line. The return to glory, one for the 8. Do you have it ready?
No. For Tiger?
Yes, for Tiger.
Well, I think that's going to ask a lot. I think he would even agree.
I know.
I watched him last night. He's been going through a lot physically, but that one came to me on the spot, the return to glory. And it was a special day. I got my 40th Masters coming up in April.
I love it.
And I hope we'll have a chance to talk before that. And I give you my word, if you guys want to do it before the AFC Championship game, if the Ravens are there next week, let's do it all over again.
You are the king. Thank you, Jim. We love you. We can't wait to see you Sunday
Jim, thank
night.
you for changing your schedule. Glenn, thank you, man.
Always
you guys are
appreciate
truly, you're great friends. Really love it being with you. Thank you.
Love you, Jim.
There he goes. All right, we're done. Go, shut it off.
Right.
We're done for the day.
I do, and I know I'm not the gymnast. This is everything to you. If there's,
I mean, other than Springsteen, other than you saying,
right,
Bruce Springsteen's calling in today.
But I mean, in all of the things that are unique to you, because I say this a lot. The thing that's most unique to me about having done this for years is the people that genuinely will tell you that they consider you a friend.
Right.
That you're like, I can't believe. One year it was, you know how the affinity that I have for Kevin and for Ian as well. Like, I love those guys. Ian did Thanksgiving Day with me for an hour because he was doing Westwood One. The year that the Ravens played on, I don't remember if it was the Steelers game or the 49ers game on Thanksgiving night.
Right.
He was doing Westwood One and said, Glenn, I don't have any family obligations. I'll do an hour with you that day if you're going to do, because we were going to do a 4 to 8 show that day leading into the Ravens game. He said, I'll do an hour with you. And it just struck me like that Ian Eagle genuinely considers himself my friend. I was like, God, that's amazing.
I know.
Like,
I was in Pittsburgh. I think it was the game that I'm pretty sure it was the game where the Ravens were ahead at the half and what's his name dropped the ball at the end.
Manzada,
dropped the ball at the end of the game. It didn't drop it, but like that was 3rd and 13. Hit him in the chest, and that was the end of the game. Or 4th and 13, whatever. I was going down the steps somehow through the configuration of the stadium. He was coming down, and we just happened to like make eye contact, and it was packed because a lot of people don't know those guys are just like musicians. When the game
they're
ends.
out. They're on a flight.
Their headset is off, and they are running out of the stadium because they've got either a private plane or the network has configured a way for them to get out, and they're like a rock star. When Springsteen finishes Born to Run, before you get out of your seat, he's in an Escalade, and he's down on Light Street. He's gone. Before the traffic hits.
Correct.
So as I'm coming down the steps at
sometimes
Heinz
while
Field,
the band is still playing. Straight shoot. I mean,
they'll
leave the band still playing on the stage
he's
to
gone.
buy time.
He's gone
for the singer or whoever to get off stage and into a car.
So I'm going down the steps at Heinz Field. I'm going down to the locker room area, and it just worked out. Happenstance. Jim's coming down with. I think he was working at that point. Wouldn't he have been with Aikman? Is that possible? Was he ever working with Troy Aikman? Who did he have in the booth with him before Romo? Wasn't Aikman, but it was someone else. Who was in the booth with him?
With Nantz?
Yeah.
Oh, with Sims?
Oh, Sims,
It
right.
was.
Phil Sims.
Yes, that's right.
They're walking down, and we just make accidental eye contact, and he like says to his guard guy, he can come with us, and I'm like I'm actually not going with you, but I'll go with you, Jim. So I walked out of the arena or the hallway with Jim Nantz and Phil Sims because Jim was like, he can come with us. And I just went with him. I wasn't really going with them. I was going to the locker room. And Jim's like, he can come with us. And I said, oh, okay. It's like when Retief Goosen said to me at the U.S. Senior Open, you can come play a practice round with me. I'm like,
yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll squeeze it in.
Yeah, right. Like, you got it. He goes, you have a game? I'm like, no, I'm waiting for Fred Funk. He goes, Fred can wait. You can come with me. I'm like, so when I saw Fred Funk, he goes, what happened to you?
Yeah.
I said, it's
love
kinda,
you, man.
I said, it's kind of weird. I said, Retief Goosen asked me to come out. He goes, oh, well, never mind then. You should have gone with him.
We get it, right.
But Jim, so I walked down the hall with Jim Nantz for 3 minutes, and then I'm like, Jim, I got to go. He's like, oh, I thought you were going out of the parking lot. I said, no, I'm staying here. He's like, oh, all right, well, have a good. So that was kind of a cool, Jim Nantz said to his guard, let him come with us. That was like Springsteen asking you, come sing Born to Run with us.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's like that,
right.
But I mean.
But he is something else, man.
He's a special person. We appreciate him taking the time.
He's a great broadcaster. I mean, it's funny because, and we're both in the same. We've both been doing this for 20-some years. Like, very rarely do you get starstruck ever, right? Anymore, you don't ever get starstruck. It just there isn't anyone. Literally, I don't think there's probably no one in the world you could meet that would leave you totally speechless. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me. I don't think there's anyone alive. I might be like that if I met, honestly, I might be like that if I met the Pope.
Okay.
I might be like that. Like,
Okay.
I might not know what to say to
It's
the
weird. I was actually just drinking with him. the
Yeah,
other
right.
night.
But I don't know what to say to the Pope, right?
Speechless.
I can't say God bless you to the Pope. The Pope, God blesses him every single day. I don't know what to say. Like, so, but Jim one year when they were in New England, I think you remember this, Jim said, hey, come on over to the booth.
Right.
And their booth is in a wonky spot. You have to go, it's kind of like in Baltimore. You got to go up a set of stairs, down a set of stairs. Their booth in New England is in a weird position in the stadium. You don't just walk to it in the concourse and go through two doors. And he's like, come on over. And as I'm walking over there, it just kind of dawns on me. I'm like, I'm walking over to spend 5 minutes with Jim effing Nantz.
Right.
Like, who,
The guy.
What
Yeah.
am I like?
The
What am
guy.
I doing?
Yep. Right.
So you go in and he's there, and hey, great. Hey, you want a cookie? And I mean, like,
Yeah.
you want a Sprite? I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, he's actually happy that you're there. Right. Yeah. He's not.
What's happening in my
You're,
world?
you're not actually in his way, which is
Right.
always what I think whenever I'm in one of these situations. I'm like, this guy doesn't really want me. Like,
Right.
Come on, I'm
Right.
not. I'm not
It's
doing
weird.
that.
It's definitely
Like,
weird.
All I can think about is ducking out. That's all
Right.
I can possibly
Right.
think about is ducking out and just saying, all right, God love you. I got to get out of here. They're like, no, this person wants me.
I know
here.
it's weird.
It's the strangest feeling in the world.
But he is a
Appreciate-
great. Sometimes I did this. Whose game? Who did Ian do this weekend? Didn't
did
he do
Texans
the
game.
Texans
Yes,
game?
He did the Texans
I
game.
remember watching the game and just saying to myself how incredibly talented these guys are at what they do and how much it's overlooked. These guys are – a lot of people think, oh, yeah, they're just – all of them, right? They're just all good-looking dudes who just are really good at doing sports. And
Right.
They're incredible.
Jim Nantz, Kevin Harlan, Ian Eagle, Glenn Clark.
But they're
all just really
incredibly
good-looking.
talented people that do this. And by the way, Jim Nantz, Ian Eagle does this all the time. He calls a freaking NBA game on Saturday night
Yes.
and gets on a plane and flies somewhere and calls a football game on Sunday.
Mhm.
And they're both flawless.
Mm-hmm.
Flawless.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And then the next week, it's not – I'm not trying to downplay this when I say what I'm about to say. It's not Kevin Brown calling the Orioles 100
the same
times.
team, the same. Yes,
Same player, same this,
Yes.
same that. I know where he's from. I know this guy's from Scottsdale, Arizona. Hey, I know his wife's name is, Marlene. It's not that. Every single game they do is different.
correct. Different players,
It's
different
incredible.
sport, 100%.
They're
every
so
week.
good, it's nuts.
Drew actually got very excited to talk about this,
No,
which
it's-
is rare. Then I'm going to say, let's talk about the football game. He's be like,
I heard we
I'm
have a
good.
broadcaster in town who's in hot water.
Oh? Which?
Oh, you haven't seen it this week?
No.
Oh.
Oh, what, Jerry?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to get me. I don't. Jerry doesn't count as a broadcaster, does he? Jerry's
At
not.
one point, yeah.
I mean,
Once a broadcast.
God. Good morning, Jerry. As always. Hope
Getting a
that
lot
you're
of play
doing,
on our show this week.
Hope that you're doing
Poor
well.
Jerry. Now, why would he have said that the other day?
No, I can't believe you're going to force me to defend. You're not going to get me to defend Jerry because now he's
No,
he's
I'm-
into it. On what happened on Monday,
I saw it. Well,
but that's not on him. That was on John. John asked him what the story was. Jerry, for the first time in his life, attempted to do something besides just get attention for himself. For the
Right.
first time in his life, he said, I just said something. It's not that. He just tried to move on.
John said, what'd you say?
And John
What'd you say?
kept it going.
What'd you
This
say?
one's on John.
Okay.
Now, Jerry's made it worse in the 48 hours since.
Of course.
Because then he realized I can get attention out of it, and that's
Right.
the way that he lives his life is can I get attention out of
And the
it?
Buffalo
But-
people haven't been all that kind to him either. Right. I mean, it's like the thing up in Philly the other day.
Well, that's it's despicable, and unfortunately, it's only because it's
But
on
what
video.
what's your opinion of the internet doxing of him?
It's an interesting question, right? It's an interesting question because I think it's a complicated topic. What I would say is I don't know how I feel about it, but what I know is you did that. And ultimately, you do have to answer for that. Like, you do have to answer for your actions.
What do you say to the reaction of some people who say the guy was a pansy?
That because
the
he,
guy
'cause he
sh-
didn't fight him?
Yeah.
I think the point the guy made was correct. There were 50,000 Eagles fans.
Well, I'm going to get my ass kicked
Yes.
if I try to fight you.
Correct.
Right.
So instead, I'm just going to leave this alone, and this is going to be how I'm going to deal with it. And is it the correct? I don't know what the correct answer is. This guy is a psychopath. I mean, like, has nothing.
I mean, that was totally out of control.
Correct.
Out of control.
And that's
I
why.
mean, I'm going to say this the right way because I will say from this beginning to make sure that I qualify this. I am 1,000,000% against what happened. 1,000,000%. That said, ... when you go into the other team's stadium and you're wearing the opposition's gear, you are going to meet with some sort of opposition. You are.
Yes.
Right? And you, as the home fan, are, I don't even know if I want to say within your rights, because I don't know if that's the right term. But if you want to give some good-natured ribbing.
That 100%. If it's good-natured
Right.
ribbing.
Right.
Yes.
So there is some of that works.
And I do think that we as a society understand the difference between.
But no, we don't.
No.
That's the problem.
No, I'm saying if somebody if the same guy that posted that video posted a video that showed an Eagles fan saying your team sucks and Jordan Love more like Jordan, if that's what it was.
Not so good,
right? Like
yeah.
if that's what it was,
No
then
problem.
the entire internet would say, right,
It's a
yeah,
nothing burger.
he's great. Like we know the difference between good-natured ribbing.
Right.
You go show up at an opposing.
Well, it's like what Robin Ficker used to do at
Maryland games
and
Bullets
Wizards
games.
games.
Yeah, 100%. Right.
It was fine
Yeah.
until it wasn't fine.
Correct.
Until he started to go get a little too close to the line, and then the Wizards eventually said you can't do it anymore. You were good when you knew what your limits were. I think here's what I would say about the doxing. The incident that happened with the kid who punched a Redskins fan, I believe in the power of the internet for that. He committed a crime.
Okay.
And in the same way as if someone slashed your tires and look, I hate to bring up this topic. Luigi Mangione got doxxed.
Right. Well, he committed a very, very serious.
That's what I'm saying.
Allegedly.
But he got doxxed.
Yeah.
They showed his face, and they pieced it together, and he got doxxed, right? This guy the other day didn't commit a crime. And that would be my only his life for sure ruined. His family, I'm sure, facing ridicule in whatever way they walk about life, whether or not his kids are in school, not in school, his wife's a school teacher, not a school, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's my only pushback a little bit to the public doxing of someone. But I agree. When you do what he did, and the very, very ugly, confrontational, and really, honestly, inhumane way he treated that girl, you then file this under, you get what you get. That's the way I ultimately look at it. You get what you get. And this is what you got. And you got to own it. I don't know that I like it, but I also like the file of you get what you get.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I'm sort of there.
Yeah,
I really am.
You did this, dude.
There's a part of it also says like, hey, this is 2020.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
That
girl did nothing. That girl did zero. If we saw the whole video and the whole context of the dispute between the two of them, that girl didn't do anything.
It's a really fine line, man, because I'm trying to think of what if somebody was videoing you going to the bathroom, we would all understand like that's not okay. Like you can't do that. But you're at a stadium. There's cameras everywhere. Like you know that. You know that whatever you do, there is a risk of everyone in the world seeing it.
Sure.
You're in a public place.
Right.
And so I can't to say, is he being doxxed? Yeah, I mean, sure, he's being doxxed. You're right about that. But it's because of your actions.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
you're not a victim in any way.
Right.
Your actions led to this.
No question about that. I just get a little bit concerned about his family and people that don't deserve the treatment they're going to get.
Yeah, and this kind of comes free market to me. Like if you're treating someone a certain way because they're related to somebody who did something stupid, then you're like I'll say this openly.
Well, you know that though. Those kids, if he has
but no, this
a
is
12-year-old kid.
This point has been brought up about the Mangione family. They will have to answer questions about, did you know something? To the police, or to the investigators will absolutely question everyone that knew that young man and will say, what did you know? What were you aware of? Did you see that video and try to protect him?
Right.
We're going to look through and find out, like, are you willing to come sit down for questioning? And we want to know if you try to protect him.
Right.
But to assume anything about any member of that family because they're simply members of that family would be inherently wrong. If you're going on Nino Mangione's Facebook page and saying, you know, you're just like him, you know, something like that, then you're scum.
Right.
Then you offer nothing to
society. Do you think the banning of him was fair
from the stadium?
Forever, like a lifetime ban is what they've said.
I think that's in their rules. I don't know that they have a lot of.
Okay.
I think what we found out is that they have like bylaws. And that within those bylaws, harassing a fan will garner you. And so at that point, if they don't do that, then the internet comes back and says,
"Yeah, why'd you let this guy back in?" Right.
So I don't know that they had much of a choice there. I think that's just the way that it goes. And to say maybe this person isn't vile, maybe that he was just drunk and a vile something or other came out of him, but that
pretty personal.
Looked like someone who was comfortable saying some pretty awful things.
Yeah, it was pretty personal.
It came off like someone. This wasn't the first time that this human being had ever said some really awful things.
Right.
I don't know how we got into this on Ravens-Bills week. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know, but I think we're going to score a lot of points.
Oh, yeah?
34-33 Bills.
There you go. That's our guy. When we come back in, we will talk a little bit more about Ravens-Bills. We'll do that. Drew's here. Griffin Today's show is brought to you by the CIAA tournament.
That's right. Baltimore is welcoming the excitement of the Food Lion CIAA men's and women's basketball tournament back to CFG Bank Arena February 25th through March 1st. Make sure you get your tickets. They're available now at Ticketmaster.com. Again, for the Food Lion CIAA men's and women's basketball tournament at CFG Bank Arena February 25th through March 1st.
All right. Also, get your responses in for Would You Rather Wednesday at Glenn Clark Radio. We'll get to that as well. Drew's here, Glenn Clark Radio.
COVID-19 and flu viruses are circulating in Maryland. But don't worry. Protection is within arm's reach. Protect your health with this year's COVID-19 and flu shots. It's safe and convenient to get them both at the same time. Flex your protection. For more information, visit health.maryland.gov/vaccines.
This message paid for by the Maryland Department of Health.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll. receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCRs.
I had a big night last night.
Oh, yeah? Who scored? Who scored a goal?
No. I had L.A. minus 4.5.
Oh, in the golf?
In TGL.
Whatever that is.
Did you watch it?
No. I told you. I watched 5 minutes of the first one. Also, the Australian Open's going on right now, Chief. Like, there will not be any more.
Kevin Kisner hit 4 of the worst shots I've ever seen a professional golfer hit.
But were they really, or
yeah,
did
they
the
were terrible.
Computer make it seem like
they were terrible.
All right.
There is something interesting though about the simulator and I just don't know that those guys can get adjusted to it. It's weird. They're not playing good golf. It's because it's not golf. It's so funny. You're not seeing. I think there was 1 birdie last night, maybe 2. Like there were 6s on par 5s. It's just not easy to play it. And I think they got into it thinking, this is just golf. But it isn't really golf.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about it that's golf other than you have clubs and a golf ball.
Mm-hmm. Well, God bless.
But the numbers were good. The TV numbers have been good.
Big Tiger Woods was allegedly a part of it last night, right?
He did. He actually played pretty good.
If you say
his
so.
team got clobbered. I have your shirt.
Well, he doesn't have to walk.
I have your shirt, by the way.
Oh, for the
Boston Collins.
Boston, thank you. I appreciate that. I was looking for that one. Hey, Stan the Fan will be back in action tonight, previewing Ravens Bills. He and Charles Walker from the Baltimore Sun. You can watch it, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
What's Stan think about Andrew Kittredge?
He's good with it. I don't know how anybody wouldn't, in a vacuum, be. Hang on a second. Let me finish this, and then we'll do that. PressBoxOnline.com/video, 5:30 tonight. Come to your house and chew gum. It's all brought to you by the Costas Inn. Stan the Fan, Charles Walker tonight at 5:30 on Facebook. There's no way to, in a vacuum, have any problem with them signing Andrew Kittredge.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't face a left-handed hitter, he's good. His numbers against lefties are terrible.
Okay,
but he's not going to face a left-handed hitter.
Well, he will.
He'll have to face one.
Yes,
right.
But yes, that's not the. He's not here to face left-handed.
Not
hitters.
good against lefties.
That's not
everything else is good.
They have guys whose job will be to face left-handed hitters. They have
I get
that.
it.
That's the way that
he's
it works.
basically taking Jacob Webb's place.
And I would say that on the whole, he's a better version of Jacob Webb.
Yeah.
Again, there's no beef with Andrew Kittredge alone. It's that this is what we do: is we just slip into, oh yeah, that's your off season, huh? You got Andrew Kittredge. Like this is.
I mean, we haven't done much.
They haven't done enough. They have done. They say they haven't done much. Like they have acquired 5 players. Tell me the last time there was an off season in Baltimore they added 5 major league players.
Of the 5 they have, rank them in terms of your expected order of value.
Value?
Just rank WAR or something? Or?
Yeah, I guess that would be the way to do it.
When it's all done, who's going to be the best of the 5 and the worst of the 5?
I might argue Kittredge is 1, just because I know.
That's what I was going to think. Sagano almost?
No, because you have no idea. You just have no idea.
Yeah, but
you have no clue. Kittredge 1, O'Neal 2, Morton 3, Sagano 4, Sanchez 5.
Oh, okay.
I just don't know what Gary Sanchez is doing. I mean, like they paid him enough.
Neither does he.
Yeah, correct. They paid him enough money that he's going to have some sort of role, even if Samuel Basayo gets the bigs. Like you don't pay somebody $10 million to then say in May, hey, sorry, we don't really have anything for you. But I also don't know how they're finding more at bats with all of the it keeps coming back to there's got to still be a trade in them. There has to be. They have to still be trying to trade one of these guys to try to find a pitcher.
Pretend. Okay, but so if they got Castillo, now they got 8 pitchers.
Yes.
What do you have?
You need bulk arms.
Yeah, but you can't keep them all.
They're all 2 of them are going to get hurt.
But you can't keep them all at the beginning of the year. What do you do with them?
Until 2 of them get hurt in spring training.
Oh, okay.
Like a year ago, remember, there were 2 guys that were hurt before the season began.
All right.
Like, this is the way it works. Have as many arms as you possibly can. I would have to look at, who of the bullpen still has, like, an option that we don't realize.
I think Sagano is going to be
like,
decent.
is there some world where, like, Soto has an option and he struggles for a week? And
I think Sagano is going to be decent.
I think he could be.
Yeah.
He certainly throws strikes.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a good thing.
And I think you know what you get with Morton. I don't think – I said this. I don't think that was a don't think that was an awful signing.
In a vacuum, you can look at these and say they're all fine.
I don't think the O'Neal thing will.
The O'Neal thing does very little for me,
me neither.
But clearly because he's going to be in the lineup every day based on that. I don't think he should be an everyday bat, but he's going to be in the lineup every day based on what they paid him. So that's the only reason why I have him high on that list is because he's going to have to be an impact of some sort.
Soto does not have an option.
I'm just throwing out. I wasn't expecting it to be Soto. Somebody's got an option.
Aiken does, Munir Cano, and Felix Bautista.
Well, Bautista, you can ship him down.
Rogers doesn't have another one? Was last year was the last one?
Is he not on the active?
He's got to be on the Major League roster.
He's not on like the 26 man.
Well, no, but he's going to be on the 40 man. There is no 26 man. The season hasn't started. Like, that's.
I don't see him listed on roster resource. That's why I say that.
Okay. Well, he is on the roster. I know that much.
It was a hell of a pickup.
Hey, man. You got to go get pitching.
Oh, my God.
What do you want to do, dog? You got to go get pitching.
I mean,
they got a guy.
He didn't go 4-4 with a 4.84 ERA.
Sure didn't.
Oh, my God.
Sure didn't. All right. Anyway, now, Ravens-Bills on Sunday night. I really am, like, I'm in a strange place because the line shifted to the Ravens. I genuinely believe the Ravens are better than the Bills.
I do too.
Rodgers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too.
Now that said,
I do too.
This is the NFL, and it's a playoff game in Buffalo, and
you can close your eyes and come up with a bunch of ways. You want me to tell you how we're going to lose? I can tell you exactly how we're going to lose.
I was dying for you to come in here and tell us how the Ravens are going to lose.
Because you know how they're going to lose. Matabike hits the quarterback after he throws the ball, gets a 15-yard penalty when it's 3rd and 7, and it's incomplete. And we're getting ready to go. It's 7-0 Ravens, and they're on their own 38-yard line, and it's 3rd and 9 and incomplete, and they're getting ready to punt to us, and we're going to go up 14-0 right away, take all the wind out of the sail of the fans. Instead, Matabike hits the guy after he throws the ball. They throw it down to the 21-yard line. Stevens gets a ticky-tack pass interference penalty. 2 plays later, 7-7. There you go. So it was going to be 14-0. Now it's 7-7. Tucker misses a 50-yard field goal right before the end of the half. It's 13-10 Bills instead of 13-13. Come out start of the second half, and
I'm starting to worry this is like fan fiction for Drew. I'm
just saying, you know exactly, because this is how they always lose. That's 3rd and 17.
This is like the story of Griffin and the girl.
Mark Andrews fumbles.
No, it's 3rd and 17. Right, it's 3rd and 17. Andrews catches it across the middle. He goes for 21 yards.
Has Andrews ever fumbled?
He could fall down, but he tries to get 4 extra yards, gets the ball punched out of his hands. They pick it up. They run it back to the 28-yard line. 2 plays later, they score. It's 20-13, and we lose.
Okay.
Like, you know exactly how they're going to lose if they lose. Bad calls, some kind of stupid penalty when they
right. They're not gonna get beat. They're not gonna come out and get their ass.
It's going to be 21-20 Buffalo with 4.5 minutes to go, and Lamar's going to throw a 51-yard touchdown. It's going to get called back because of illegal formation. Like you just know this is how they do it when they lose, and if they don't make those kind of mistakes, they're going to win. I really do think they're going to win. I know what happens in these moments that always seem to come around at the worst possible time.
I do wonder.
And you could almost name the players. Honestly.
I don't know.
Like, Matabike is the guy that's going to get the roughing the passer penalty. Stevens is going to get the pass interference penalty.
Stevens, I agree with.
Like, you just know what's going to happen.
That part I agree with. I don't know if any of the other ones.
He's going to be lucky we can interfere with him.
Right. Yeah, it's a better scenario than what the outcome might be otherwise.
So, I just think, I wrote about this today. If you're Buffalo, how do you game plan for the Ravens? How do you game plan for this? You're going to try to stop Derrick Henry?
Well, I do think it always has to start that way. I do.
We're just not going to let him run for 150 yards.
I think you have to start with stacking the box.
Okay. So now Lamar's got to beat you.
I think it's unique to being in Buffalo because what you're saying is the weather is suited for this to be your strategy. If the game was in South Florida, it might be different. But a game in Buffalo, I don't think you have a choice but to say our strategy is stuff the box, try to make them do something else. That's what you come out with.
And you look at, and I'll use what happened to the Chargers and Texans the other day. On the surface, Herbert was not good. All right, let's just say that. He wasn't good. But he wasn't nearly as awful as the data indicated. He threw 4 interceptions. 2 of them bounced off his own team's hands. Went right to the guys, right? Like, that could happen to Lamar. Lamar could throw the ball Sunday night, and it could bounce off of, likely his shoulder pad and go right to their guy, and he could intercept it and run it back. Like, the quarterback doesn't have to play awful. He just, if they make mistakes, they're in trouble.
100%.
That's the only issue.
The nature of the Bills being a good football team is that they are capable of taking advantage of your
And look,
mistakes.
Lamar puts the ski hat on in October when it's 58 degrees.
Correct.
He's going to be freezing his
fair,
ass
it was
off.
miserable in Baltimore last Saturday night. Now, it's going to be more miserable than that in Buffalo, but it was miserable on Saturday night in Baltimore. It was unpleasant, and it did not impact.
I think that's the word. I don't think it was miserable. It was unpleasant. But it's going to be freaking cold up there Sunday night.
Yeah, it's going to be hellish. Now, the only good news is that the winds don't look like they're going to be remember the last time they played a playoff game in Baltimore?
Yeah, it was a disaster.
In Buffalo. It was
Awful.
You couldn't throw the ball. The winds were
Tucker missed 2 field goals, and
correct.
that's when he was a good kicker.
Right. Yeah. Remember those days? It was awful. I think I saw 5 to 10 mile an hour.
Okay, well that's fine.
Is you're going to notice it because it's going to be that cold
Right.
that you'll notice 5 to 10 mile an hour winds, but it's not dramatic impact on the football game. 15 to 25 mile an hour winds, and I think it was over 20 mile an hour if I remember correctly when the last time they played a playoff game in Buffalo.
Right.
So that is the better news going into Sunday night. Look,
I really like the Texans on Saturday to get their asses kicked.
Yeah, right. 10 days ago, you were telling me about how the Chargers were going to beat the Chiefs.
I really like
how'd that go?
I really like the Texans on Saturday.
How'd that go?
To get their
spent half of the show last week talking about how I think the Chiefs are going to lose to the Chargers.
I know.
How'd that work out?
I never saw that coming. Neither did you.
I did not. Of course, I did not. Although here's the one
when
thing.
you go back to those helmets,
that's right. If the one thing that I would say about what we saw from the Texans that I would say it's not comparable to the Ravens, but it's a similar storyline. We saw C.J. Stroud run way more in that game on Saturday than we had been seeing him run in the weeks leading up to that.
Right.
And the thing that we had talked about with Lamar and all the open holes that he wasn't taking this season, it was kind of clear, let's get to December. I'm not doing it for
and then we'll
I'm not doing it for 18 weeks and the playoffs.
Well, there's also something else we haven't done this year that's in the game, still in the game plan. There's still something else. There's something else that we haven't done all year.
Something they haven't done all year that's still
that
in
we
the
got.
game
We
plan.
got it. We
Lord
got it.
knows,
We got
but-
it waiting for them.
Oh yeah. Go
Well,
ahead.
I think we haven't
Go
had a fake punt all year.
There's no way the Ravens pull out. Jordan Stout can't do the real punting. You're going to trust him with a fake punt?
We have not fake punted all year.
They'll direct snap it to Christian Welch.
Okay.
He hasn't been unleashed yet.
Okay. Take Jordan Stout out of the equation. This is a part of this that we're not talking about at all.
Or keep Mitchell.
Jordan Stout's terrible.
Jordan Stout
Jordan Stout's terrible.
is awful.
He's terrible. I would agree with
The
that.
punt return game is dreadful.
How about the other night? It hit the dude in the face.
And then he wouldn't field one after that. After that happened,
Yeah, he was done.
He was
Well,
just
John-
like, "Look, I'll run back there."
Well, John said to him,
Yeah, go.
you
stay away.
If you fumble one more ball,
Yeah,
you're off
gone.
the team."
Right.
Then later on, he ran with it, and he got like 25 yards.
Right, and you're like,
the one that hit him in the face, though, on the first kick, I'm
they
like,
don't-
oh, my God.
They don't have a punter. They don't have a punt returner.
Right.
Like it used to be in Baltimore. The special teams had to be brilliant in order to
Right.
make up for the shortcomings. Now we're not even talking about the fact.
Let's bring Devin Hester back.
Sure, bring him back at 50 years old. The punt and the punt return are nothings.
Terrible.
Zero. They get zero out of it. We have no idea if they can make a kick. No clue. Like we think that maybe it was better because Justin Tucker made a couple late in the season, but it was a very small sample size. They've barely tried any field goals.
So since the bye, they've taken, 3 field goals?
Yeah, something like that.
1 in Houston, 2. Yeah, 1 in Houston, 1 in New York.
And was that it? I don't remember.
That might be it.
You can look it up.
No, he took 2 in the Pittsburgh game.
Okay.
On 2 weeks,
right.
in the regular season.
In the regular season Pittsburgh game. I don't remember. We think that maybe they might be able to make a kick, but we don't know that. We have no idea. The special teams are an unmitigated disaster this season, and we're just sort of like, Lamar. Like, Lamar. No problem. Lamar. We got it solved. Don't worry about it. All's good. And I have no idea how to feel about it. None. No clue.
I love our chances Sunday.
It's out of sight, out of mind. That's what it is.
37-30 Bills.
37-30 Bills.
Shootout.
It's all you had today? Was that all you had? Let's talk about Jim Nantz.
Well, after Jim Nantz. And I'm going to Florida. So
you're already in
I'm
vacation
pretty much
mode.
checked out.
Yeah, right. You're already on the golf course.
How about
at
our
this
Terps?
point. What do you want to say about that? They at least won.
Big night the other night.
Did you see what happened with the women last night?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they were up by
They
like
were up
22,
20
right?
with like 3 minutes left.
Right, and then it was 3.
And it was a 3-point
Minnesota
game.
went on a 16-0 run.
I was actually watching.
Did you see the end of the basketball game last night?
I did see the thing, the East Carolina, was it North Texas, where the number was 120 something.
It was 128.5.
And it was sitting at 126, and they just tried to dribble out the clock, but there was a half-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And so after they dribbled out the clock,
These moron referees.
The official said, no, you got to put a half a second back on. And they just inbounded the dude and he hit a half-court shot for the over. Oh, my God. See, it's always – this is the problem with this is the problem with the Bad Beats segment. For someone else, that was a miracle.
Yeah, well, I like
for
because
someone
there were
else.
several people in the comments that were posting their bet slips like over hit. I had the over.
Yeah, right. For someone else, it's the greatest day of their life.
But the best part is they were shaking hands.
Correct, because the game was over.
So there was a funny incident that happened Monday night. Mount Carmel played Coward Hall basketball, and I don't even know what the score was, but it was sizable margin. I want to say it was 33-15. Mount Carmel might have been 31-15, but it was sizable. It was right. It was in the second quarter, and a Mount Carmel kid checked into the game and went to go play, and his number was not in the book.
Okay.
Or his number was wrong in the book.
Okay.
In some way, the roster was wrong.
Okay.
Coward Hall alerts the referees. Referees come over, and this is this is like the Watergate investigation. Like, all right, let's get the books out. They get the books out, 2 scorebooks, and I think I could be wrong on this. I think Tony Martin's wife is their scorekeeper, but it was a female. I don't know. So she's got the book, and they're figuring it out, and now they get the rosters out, and they're trying to figure out how this kid got in Coward Hall's book with the wrong number. And now they bring the rosters out, and I'm sitting kind of like right behind the benches, and I hear Tony say to the scorekeepers, that roster, I don't know where you got that roster from, but that's not our roster. And they're like, we got it from your website. And Tony's like, well.
Have you ever paid attention to high school sports?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know where that came from. He goes, but it looks like it came from Max Preps. That's their font, and I don't know where that came from, but it's wrong. The roster's wrong. Our book is right. Your book should be right. It isn't right, but I don't know how that happened. And the ref's like, well, let's look at this. And Tony went and sat down on the bench, and after about 2 minutes, he walks up and he goes, where are we at with this?
Right, what are we doing?
And the ref is like, well, we're trying to figure out. Tony goes, we don't have to figure anything else out. Tee us up.
Right. And then just like the kids.
Just tee us up.
Yeah.
Get the foul shots going, and let's move on with the game.
Right. Fair. Fair. Actually, good on him for that.
I've never heard a coach be like, just
go ahead.
Do me a favor.
Right.
Just give us a technical and
Right.
get it over with.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on so you can play a basketball game instead of sitting
66-39 was the final.
God.
So Mount Carmel was very good, by the way. Very good.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
They're legit.
Let's play Would You Rather Wednesday. Would you rather Wednesday?
Yeah, because I gotta go get a flight.
What time are you leaving?
I don't know. Pretty soon.
He was literally. It was like as soon as we finished talking to Jim Nantz.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all you needed me for.
In fairness,
anyway.
he hasn't asked us for food yet, so we've got that going.
I'm starving. You guys don't have anything, do you?
Some cookies out there if you want to cook.
No, they were from last week.
I think they're still okay. They're in bags. They're sealed.
Oh.
They're not just sitting out. God. Would you rather Wednesday? Somebody's going to get a $30 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating. Respond at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio.
By the way, was that a fumble or a throw the other night?
It was by the letter. We had a whole conversation about this yesterday.
Don't you dare say that was a throw.
It was.
No,
but
it wasn't.
No, it was, but it shouldn't be.
It was awful.
How much did you lose? How much did you bet on the Vikings?
The first half, I had Vikings plus 8.5. No, it was an awful call.
No, the problem is the call was correct. It's an awful rule.
How's it not intentional grounding?
That's the point. The point is we went through a whole thing about intentional grounding. Intentional grounding is written as it has to have a reasonable chance of being a complete pass. And so immediately, half the things that we've not called as intentional grounding should be intentional grounding. The problem is
like when they throw the ball into the ground in front of them.
The next sentence in the intentional grounding rule says we define a reasonable chance of being completed as
the guy has 2 legs and 2 arms.
As in the vicinity. And that it contradicts the two sentences in the rule contradict each other.
Right.
Because throwing in the vicinity of someone does not give you a reasonable chance of the pass being completed. So what you would hope is at some point the NFL would decide to prioritize fixing this rule. But they're not going to, because then it would benefit the defense, and the NFL's never going to do anything ever again that benefits defense. Like, it's just never going to happen again in the future of football that there's going to be a rule in place that would benefit defense.
Right.
Like, forget it. It's not.
Oh, it was a fumble.
It wasn't, but I get where you're at. And again, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss. All right, Would You Rather Wednesday.
Sam Darnold, punch him right in the face if I ever see him.
That's on you for betting on Sam Darnold, Chief.
My God.
You made that choice. Sometimes it's not on them. It's not you, it's me.
You know LA's winning the Super Bowl, right?
Because of the fires?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that.
Oh.
Although
you haven't rushed. Tell me you haven't gone and put 50 on them?
You don't know what ticket I bought some time ago. I bought a Rams Super Bowl ticket, or making the Super Bowl, winning the NFC. I looked up in week 12, week 11, something like that, and saw that the Rams had the same Super Bowl odds as the Buccaneers and said, that's not right. You've screwed that up.
Okay. So
with all due respect to Baker Mayfield,
101?
I got to pull up what it was.
And you can get that press box print issue. Where, Glenn?
Yeah, you can pick this up at your neighborhood Royal Farms. Any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. It's the best of print issue of Pressbox. Our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, Lamar Jackson, is on the cover. Go get it right now. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly what I got it at. Because I was asked to do this exercise for Pressbox, and then I saw the number, and I said, yeah, I'm going to put some American dollars on that because that's insane. All right, hang on a second.
Well, you know they're winning.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
The whole state's on fire.
I got it at plus 2,000.
Wow.
And what'd you put on it?
I put 40. I put $40 to make the Super Bowl. Not to win the Super Bowl, to make the Super Bowl.
Oh, you get a cash-out offer yet?
I haven't looked. I'll go look.
You should look.
I should look now, yeah. After this game, I should look. 100%.
Of course.
I should look.
Because you're going to win.
I put like $10 on a Rams versus Chiefs Super Bowl matchup.
I'd be checking your
6,000.
buyout on that.
Yeah, you can go find that right now. They're right there. That's documented.
I would.
Yeah, it was insane. I looked at it.
Because they're going to win now.
There's no world.
Because
they had the same NFC Championship odds as the Buccaneers and Seahawks.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
Yeah, they're the Rams.
With all due respect. I don't know that the Rams are going to.
They have 2 incredible receivers.
The odds were
great
wrong.
coach.
Yes,
right.
Correct. They had
and
way
helmets.
more than those other teams did.
Right. Where do they play now?
More.
Philly?
Yes.
They could beat Philly.
They could. They could.
They could beat Philly.
They could.
They get 9 sacks again.
They could beat Philly for sure.
They could beat Philly. They could. They could.
Be serious. And then Stafford goes into Detroit, beats them 24-20.
What's that?
And then Stafford goes into Detroit and wins 24-20.
That part, 1,000. If somehow.
Oh, by the way,
it is Rams Lions.
I don't even know
would be
what's
all
the
over
spread
the
on. What's the money line right now? Plus 320 on Redskins or Commanders. What is it?
I don't know what it is.
I mean, that's probably more or less right.
320.
You can look it up.
I'd take DC in a heartbeat.
Why?
They look very dangerous to me.
They look dangerous, but they've also.
They look very
plus
dangerous.
400 on the money line. So 9.5.
Take that in a heartbeat.
They've also had to have a lot.
The Lions are still the Lions.
I agree with that.
They are still the Lions.
But the Commanders are still the. Well, I guess they're not. They're not still the
right.
Redskins.
They're not right.
It's a completely different thing. There's something to be said for that. Proctor says the wording is just backwards. Should say the pass must be in the vicinity of an eligible receiver who must have a reasonable chance of receiving the ball. Yeah, if you wrote it that way, if you flip the two sentences around so that the primary part is they have to have a chance to catch the football, then I would agree with it. But that's not the way that it's written, and it screws everything up, and they're not changing it again because it would benefit defense, and they're never going to make another rule ever in the future of football that will benefit the defense. They don't want that to be a turnover. They don't want it to be a 15-yard loss. They want it to be Rams ball with a chance to go score because they want points to be scored because that's what we like as a country. This is on us. You want to complain about TikTok? Don't spend all your day on TikTok.
Are we getting rid of it?
Well, maybe.
Mr. Beast said he might buy it.
Great.
Who?
Good for
Mr. Beast.
Who's that?
This
He's
is
a
the
YouTuber,
only
yeah.
person that someone that age cares about. I actually have tried watching some of his content. He's the least interesting person I've ever come across.
His stuff
He
is
couldn't
good.
be
Who? What is the? I don't even know because I don't have it, and I
He gives away money,
and I don't know, but I don't know
He's right.
who. What is the angst with TikTok? What happened that made us all want to get rid of TikTok? What is it?
I believe the attachment to China.
Yeah, there's other things that are
Okay.
attached to China. Yes, correct. It's a very complicated conversation
That's your answer?
That's
It's attached to China.
It is collecting data, and it's the belief is that there is a tie to the Chinese government. The Chinese government is getting data from American citizens. That's what they're suggesting.
What data? No, I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
I don't.
No one knows.
Data? Your
Drew,
name and your.
why are you asking me?
But what do you put into TikTok?
I don't know.
You put your credit card into
I've
it?
never. I have a TikTok that I've never used.
But what do
in
you
my life?
Do you put your credit card information into TikTok? Your banking information?
I mean, you could. Yeah, you can buy.
You
stuff
can
on
sell.
TikTok.
Okay, buy and
Yeah.
sell stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But as far as I know,
That's
no
our
one
guy.
has been,
I don't know.
murdered
guy.
or.
Well, you have no idea. You're just saying things now. You have no idea. I'm sure there have been unfortunate, awful things that have happened that started on TikTok. But yeah, there's been plenty of unfortunate, awful things that have occurred from other places too. Like
MySpace.
Yes, 100%. So it's what it is.
Snap face.
All right, let's do
As
this.
Bill Belichick used to say.
Snap face.
Face chat.
Oh, face chat. Right.
Remember, he would get up there at the end of the game and go, I don't know, people, snap face and face chat, whatever else you guys are on. Instaface.
Oh, Instaface. All right, would you rather? Number one, you're going to have free. I guess I know what Drew's answer is going to be based on how I started this show. You can have free 50-yard line seats and luxury transportation to and from the game Sunday night if you spend at least 8 hours every day between now and Monday outside working in conditions that will be exactly like they will be on Sunday night, 9 degrees. 9 degrees with a wind chill of 0 or less. Or, you know what? I think I'll watch the game at home. This guy was going on about how he's like,
I would go up there. I would take that.
But you would have to spend 8 hours every day between now and Monday.
Not Sunday, though, right?
Including Sunday, yes.
Well, how do I get the 8 hours in?
Before the game.
If we're driving to and from.
Before the game.
Or flying,
Luxury
I guess.
transportation.
8 hours in this weather that we're experiencing today?
No. In Buffalo Sunday night weather. 9 degrees.
Outside?
Yes.
Doing what?
Working.
A
Whatever
radio
that
show?
looks. You're not doing a radio show.
I guess so.
Working. Labor of some sort.
Nah, pass on that.
Okay.
Hand warmers pretty
But
well,
I'll
pretty
go.
well.
I'll go up there and sit.
No one asked. That's not the question.
But what I'll do is.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Drew says the next thing he's going to say is, anybody got any of those pizza beans?
I'll pass on doing anything outside for 8 hours unless I have to sit and watch a football game.
And this includes the AFC Championship, so.
What?
I get both. You get this
No,
weekend
you
and
get
the AFC
just
Championship.
the Sunday night. You
Oh,
get-
it's AFC Championship game also?
No. Nobody has said anything about the
Why?
AFC Championship game.
Oh.
Well, I want
Well,
both.
add that.
I want both. Yeah.
Let's negotiate.
I can sit at the
is-
top. I can sit at the top row then. If
Oh, okay.
if
That's what you
take
get
the
for the
AFC
AFC
Championship
Championship
too.
game.
I mean, yeah, I'd do it, right?
For you at your age,
Yeah.
there's no reason why you wouldn't. There's no reason
'cause
why
you're-
you wouldn't.
Because you're kind of a nut.
Yes, exactly right. That is the correct answer for him. For me, not a chance in hell. If you told me it was
You're
1
missing
hour,
out.
if you told me it was 1 hour every day, if you told me I had to sit in the weather outside on Sunday night, I would say. My wife mentioned that they were doing somebody was doing a giveaway of a trip to the game, and she was like, "Should we enter?" And I said, "If you got somebody to go with,
Yeah, sure.
if you can find the date for Sunday night, because it sure as hell ain't gonna be me."
Here's the one thing I would say about going to the games. I don't know if this has changed so dramatically for me over the last X amount of years. And the Ravens try very hard. So when I say what I'm going to say, I am giving them full credit. They try incredibly hard, and they do an outstanding job. But the in-person experience at the stadium is just not conducive to sitting there for 3.5 hours. It's just not. It's too slow, too pedestrian, And the other night was weird. The Cleveland game was weird because it was so effing cold. You couldn't talk. Because in order to talk, you had to take your face mask down. And in order to take your face mask down, maybe you got to take your gloves off. Like it was uncomfortable.
Yep.
You used that word earlier, or
Yep.
whatever, unsettling,
Unpleasant.
whatever, unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the only games I've been to that it was uncomfortable. And the product in the stadium, it's 3 plays, 2.5-minute break. 7 plays, 2-minute break. 2 plays, 2-minute break. Hey, we're good. It's so
Got a drone over the field.
it's so slow. And at home,
Yep.
it ain't slow.
Not a problem.
Right. It is not a good experience in the stadium. It's just not. And yet the Ravens go out of their way to try to make
here's
it
a halftime
enjoyable.
performance, and here's a girl with a violin, and here's the
the lights are off, and
the
Terrell
whole-
Suggs comes out and
the
makes
whole
fire
thing.
rise.
Everything they can do.
But
Yep.
it's just not. And I think, in fairness to the Ravens, they know it. And they're like, what are we going to do?
Yep.
How are we going to keep these people interested?
Yep.
Everyone's looking, not the other night because fantasy football was over, but everybody's looking at their phone, and everybody wants to know what Jamar Chase just did. Like, it's a terrible in-person product.
I had a really good time for what it's worth. I don't know.
You're also 24. Like it's different. Anyway, speaking of which, the Ravens or the AFC team that you like, you precious snowflakes, are in the Super Bowl.
Hey, take it easy.
No, not you. I mean, because if I post this, then there's gonna be a bunch of weird Bills fans like, oh, so the Ravens are in the Super Bowl, huh? Like you're not even thinking about something. So I have to cover my ass here. Would you rather face the Lions or face the Eagles?
I probably would not want to play the Eagles. I wouldn't mind playing the Lions. I just don't know if I don't know if I want to play the Eagles.
Why is that?
They can run the ball. Their quarterback's decent. They've been there, done that.
I think the quarterback in Detroit is better than the quarterback in Philadelphia.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
But their quarterback's decent. That kid's not a scrub.
He's not a scrub.
Yeah,
I agree with
he's
that.
not a scrub. But they've been there, done that. They do have a winning, that it is a little bit of a winning DNA there, whereas in Detroit it's very recently winning DNA. I would rather them play the Eagles.
You would rather.
I'd rather them play the Lions.
Okay,
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I agree because I'd be pretty confident the Ravens can score on that Lions defense. And for all the troubles that they had against the Eagles a month ago, like that definitely sticks in my mind. I think the Lions is certainly the better answer. And we saw the Buffalo was able to win a shootout against the Lions, and I think the Ravens would be certainly capable of that.
Okay. And then number 3, you're a sports broadcaster. By the way, I agree, and I hate the fact that I agree with that. I hate that. It really, really bothers me to my core. You're a sports broadcaster. So just imagine what that would be like for you. Just completely different world.
Jim Nantz's color guy.
Would you rather be the reporter who got caught? Are you familiar with the story from last week?
Go ahead.
Guy works out in Sacramento. They come to him to do a live hit about NFL coaching changes.
Okay.
They cut to him. He's sitting in the studio. They're like, let's bring on what the hell is his name? Jake Gadden. Let's go to Jake now for an update about the NFL coaching carousel. And they go, and he's now in the newsroom, and he's sitting in the newsroom, and on his computer, he has pictures of Rihanna in her underwear. That's a straight shoot. That's a thing that occurred in Sacramento last week. They cut to the newsroom, and this was a pop. Rihanna put new underwear pictures on the internet last week, and so everybody. Oh, you're familiar. And so everyone could tell immediately what Jake Gadden was looking at in the background. So that's now who you are. If you see that face, you're Jake Gadden. That's who you are. Would you rather be him, or would you rather be the next in a line of many broadcasters over the years who has attempted to say bulging disc, only for it to come out another way? Steve Levy did it 30 years ago.
Disking bulge.
Nope, that's not what he said. And he still gets asked about it to this day.
Right.
30 years ago, Steve Levy had this happen.
I think you asked him about it when we saw him in Tampa Bay.
I think I might have.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, remember that time? It happened to Win Nick Murray talking about Tiger Woods.
Yes.
It happened to Jane Slater. It's happened to a lot of broadcasters.
Yeah,
over
it's
the
just
years.
something you don't really want to say. When they say he's got a back problem, you go, okay, that's enough.
Correct. Yeah, we don't need to be any more specific than
This
that.
guy's back's bothering him.
Which would you rather?
I mean, look, I'm a warm-blooded American male. I'm
okay. You think if you
don't
got
have
caught with Rihanna pictures in the background,
I mean,
everybody would just be like, "That's about right."
It is what it
Yeah,
is.
That's good.
I mean, she posted them.
Right. That's a good point.
I mean, what the hell?
You didn't ask.
Right.
Right.
It's not like she sent them to me privately.
Right. She wanted people to see them. She was
Right.
advertising her underwear.
Right. I mean, it's different if it's Tom Brady in his underwear. That might be weird.
I mean, I don't know.
Right.
He posted them.
Right.
In
Right.
fairness.
Right.
So you're going with you'd rather be old Jake Gadden.
I think so.
Okay, fair enough. Griffin?
Those pictures are I think you can
Now
underlive.
Griffin's just looking at pictures of Rihanna in her underwear. That's how the day is gone.
This is the segment I thought. This is I think I feel like you can move past the bulging disc
I think
a
that's the
little.
benefit of that is that there's
everyone's
so
done
many
it.
people
Yeah,
that have
yeah.
done it
Yeah.
that it's almost like you just joined the club now. Like it's almost like that you get maybe Steve even calls you like, "Hey man, heard you're in the club."
Jeremy used to. This is way before you were there, and this was back when Jeremy was an infant with a brain of an 8-year-old.
Well, I don't know how much of that has changed.
Jeremy would during a break he would go, "Hey, come here a second. Take a look at her," and he would have the screen set up so on the computer at the radio station, so that he could scroll from her. He would have the screen set up so you could scroll from her face down.
Mm-hmm.
He would do this all the time. It was like Letterman throwing the pencil through the window.
Right.
You kept going back anyway,
Yep, sure.
even though you knew what was coming.
Yep.
And he would scroll down, and she would be very attractive in her face. And then you would scroll further, and she would have a very ample
penis. Yes,
well,
correct.
bosom.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Bosom.
Yeah. and
Thank
then-
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Then you would scroll even further,
Yes.
and you would, and then
then you get to the.
then
yes.
it wouldn't be a her.
Yes, exactly.
And
right.
he would think that was so funny.
Yeah, I know, and you obviously didn't, which we can tell by the way you're describing.
He would think it was so funny.
You were like, "This
And
is
then-
ridiculous."
And then Terry would be like, "What's wrong with you?" And then Terry would be, "Well, I'll be in there in a second." Like, and then I would be like, "What's wrong with you two?" But Jeremy would do it all, and it was just hilarious because we would all walk by, and he would go, "Hey, take a look at this," and you're like, "You're not doing it to me again." And the joke always was, it was Lucy pulling the football away. He would always go, "Dude, I'm not doing that this time."
Right. No,
This
she's
is
just hot.
look at, and you would be like, "Well, she is pretty."
Yeah.
She is pretty hot.
Right.
And Jeremy would, then he would pan
There
down
you
and
go.
go, "Ah!"
Gotcha
Made you
again.
look.
Gotcha again.
And then a week later, he'd be like, "I'm not doing it this time. Seriously, look at her."
And you play along every time. Like, all right, I'll try to kick that football. We'll see how it
swear.
goes. Get your
Well,
response.
that was when he was a juvenile.
Right
I mean,
now, he wouldn't do anything like that.
Right.
Today, there's a new boss, so he's got to wait till tomorrow and find out if the boss is cool.
Yeah, I'm waiting to
All
hear
right.
from the ball.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
2
from him.
emails later.
Oh, nothing.
I guess
Oh,
I'm
that
out.
doesn't- That doesn't seem great.
Yeah.
Might be you and us both. I don't know. I haven't.
Sent the guy 2 emails.
Uh-oh.
It's all good. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I'll just buy one less boat with that money I make.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how could you get by with just 3 though?
Yeah, right. Right.
What's even the
Yeah,
point?
every summer when I worked there doing the golf show, I bought a new boat.
All right. I don't know how it happened there. Enjoy your trip to Florida.
Oh, I'm leaving? Okay.
Well, you said you had to leave.
Yeah, I got to go.
Do you
What
or
else
not?
we got going on?
Charles McDonald's joining us from Yahoo Sports.
To talk about what?
The NFL, football,
No,
the
I
Ravens.
can't do it. I'm done.
All right. If I had said
I'm
video,
done.
if I had said video game golf, you
Yeah,
would have been
you
like,
said
all right,
TGL,
well,
I would have been good.
right. At It's a Hooded 4-Iron on Twitter. Drew's
Tough
Morning
night
Dish
for the
back on.
Hounds on Monday night.
Yeah, it was not great.
Oh,
Not
my
great.
gosh.
Why would you know that?
I follow all the teams.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Who'd Morgan play on Monday? All right, when we come back in, Charles
I know
McDonald.
Towson's playing Hofstra soon.
They are. They're playing.
They're 3-1 in the conference,
But
Towson.
they miraculously.
Are they not good? I thought they were supposed to be good.
They were supposed to be really
2
good.
overtime wins in there. So.
Where is Sasaki going?
Hopefully, he's going to get the San Diego,
Seattle,
Toronto, Seattle,
Toronto
and Dodgers.
Yes, those are the
The
final
Dodgers
ones.
are actually trying to get good.
Yeah, now what a thought. What a thought. All right, I got to take a break.
I think he's going to the Blue Jays.
No, it's never the Blue Jays. It's never you talk to the Blue Jays to get whatever you want to get out of, who you really want to sign with. That's the reason the Blue Jays exist.
Sasaki.
They exist so that you can go to them and then turn around to the Dodgers and say, all right, now, and I get that Sasaki can't get that much money, but whatever else they're going to throw in, like a house or a luxury box or something. You go to the Blue Jays to the point of turning around.
You see Hoffman's physical got flagged by the Braves as well.
I did see that. I did see that. All right, I got to go.
I do too.
You got to go.
I got to get a catch a plane.
Thanks, Drew. Drew'sMorningDish.com. Go check him out, whatever he's doing over there. We come back in. Charles McDonald, Yahoo Sports, will join us. Talk some Ravens with him next. Glenn Clark Radio.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Pressbox's Project Game Day is the place to be after every game this season. Join Glenn Clark, Rita Hubbard, Super Bowl 35 champion Femi Ayanbadejo, and our cast of regulars as they break down what happened, why it mattered, and what it means moving forward. You can watch the show at PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay or Pressbox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Project Game Day is brought to you by the Green Turtle Sportsbook in Towson and Canton, Easy Pass, and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. So join us for Project Game Day after every game day this football season at PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
COVID-19 and flu viruses are circulating in Maryland. But don't worry, protection is within arm's reach. Protect your health with this year's COVID-19 and flu shots. It's safe and convenient to get them both at the same time. Flex your protection. For more information, visit health.maryland.gov/vaccines.
This message paid for by the Maryland Department of Health.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Again, continue to get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Someone is winning a $30 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating in Would You Rather Wednesday. And don't forget that for all the latest in high school sports, Drew was talking about Mount Carmel basketball. You want to know what's going on with them. You want to know what's going on with every team, every sport, every area of the state. You can find all the scores, schedules, updates, news, whatever you want to know by going to countysports.zone. That's countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. And speaking of high school sports, the pride of McDonogh joining us now here on GCR. Mr. Forverts himself covers the NFL for Yahoo Sports. He's our buddy Charles McDonald, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Charles, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's always great to catch up with you, brother. Thank you for taking the time for me.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Everything is good, man. It's Ravens-Bills this week, right? Like life is good.
Yeah.
This is the reason why you do this type of stuff. Charles, we're all lost, and I'll get to it. Obviously, we'll talk about it. Because all we're talking about across the country is Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Is there anything in particular about this game, this matchup, that maybe we're not paying enough attention to because all we're talking about is the two quarterbacks?
I don't know, because that is the story. But I would say you probably like maybe passing over some of the auxiliary characters maybe on Buffalo squad, because we all know about like Derrick Henry and all the work that he's done this year, but even like James Cook too has had a breakout year. I think he's had some moments where I never really expected him to turn into this kind of runner. I thought he was going to be more like a maybe an RB2 that comes in and provides some big plays, but no, he's like a real downhill runner that seems to be maybe not quite as good as Pete Dalvin, but like around there. So you definitely have like on both sides of the ball like two of the best backfields in the NFL in terms of just quarterback, it's running back count, and then it's cool because those teams like they start there with quarterback and running back, and you kind of fill in everything else around it. But there's just so much offensive talent I think on display here. Whether Buffalo has some guys in their offensive line that have really developed over the past couple of years. Baltimore, I think the receivers have gotten underrated, maybe in the national eye, especially guys like Rashad Bateman. So there's just a lot of star power on display. I understand why people are calling it, the quote unquote Super Bowl, because I do feel like these are the two overall best teams in the league, or at least the two overall best teams like in the AFC. But you still most likely got to go to Kansas City after you handle business this week. So maybe we'll be careful on calling it the Super Bowl, but it definitely is like the most exciting game of the year.
Yeah, I am not buying into the idea that like the Chiefs are dramatically vulnerable or something. Like this is the Chiefs we're talking. Until they're dead, I just assume that they're winning the Super Bowl again this year. That's the way that it works. Charles, I bring that all up. I know you wrote after you were there on Saturday night, you wrote for Yahoo about how Derrick Henry has changed things, and there's no doubt. Like the idea that Lamar Jackson doesn't have to do everything is significant, and it starts to make me feel. And look, this is football; it can change, but it makes me feel like there isn't a trump card that exists. Like as I look at who the most talented teams are, who the best teams are, no one has something like a Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry backfield that there is just no way for you to figure out what it is that's coming and how you could possibly stop it.
Well, yeah, that's why, once we realized that Derrick Henry this year was like absolutely still in his prime and still one of the best like three running backs in the league, or probably this year one of the best two running backs in the league. That's when I was like, okay, they might have this might be like the great equalizer I guess they needed to just kind of be stable in the playoffs and make some of those big plays that maybe they were missing last year, because it almost felt like that Steelers game was like a notice as, in relation to the AFC Championship game last year where, you had they didn't run the ball too much. They had some of those RPOs where Lamar Jackson was, pulling it and not using his legs enough. And then you come out in your first playoff game this year, and Derrick Henry, I remember I wrote it up for Yahoo Sports. He had 18 carries on first down, like 26 to 18 carries on first down. So they're like, no, we're not messing around this year. We got Derrick Henry, we got Lamar Jackson. We're going to run the damn ball. But if we got to pass it, we can too, because we know Lamar is also one of the best throwers in the league. I'm glad that we've kind of got to a point where we can appreciate, just because you run the ball, 50 times last week against Pittsburgh doesn't mean you can't throw it, but you should lean on what you're best at. And this is one of the best rushing games in the history of the NFL, unequivocally. So if I'm them, I'm trying to get to 40 carries every week. I would just dare people to stop you got a 300-pound fullback blocking for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Like, I would just dare you to stop that over and over and over again until you could. And even if you do stop it, I know that we can get a big play if I come right back to it. So it just feels like their offense has the big answer, I guess, that maybe they didn't feel like they had with Gus Edwards last year. And I think that changes everything, really.
Charles McDonald is with us here on GCR. Charles, to that point, like I thought it's weird because the Browns game in Week 18 to me was also the one that really gave me like comfort that they understand, which is Derrick Henry at 8 yards in the first half. The Browns were doing a very good job, but they said, it's cold outside. We're going to keep this going. We're just going to keep giving him the ball and know that you're not up for it for 4 quarters. And, you know, with all due respect to Patrick Queen, who apparently had the flu, like you saw, it's one thing to have an answer for even if the Bills come out, stuff the box on Sunday night, and can slow Derrick Henry a little bit, as long as they don't go and get up 21-28. It just feels like the Ravens now know, if we do this for 4 quarters, we're going to wear you down. You are not up for 4 quarters of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry coming at you.
Yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do? I thought the funniest part was about that Steelers game was, excuse me, people were mad at Pittsburgh, like, oh my God, like, you know, and I played defensive line. I played at McDonald. I played in college, and I coached too. So I know a lot about like defending run games and stuff like that. And they're sitting there like, oh, you know, look at how they played the zone read. Like, this was all wrong. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter how you decide to play it. Like, at some point, you just have to reckon with the idea that there's just 2 Hall of Fame players in their prime that are elite at running the ball. Like, okay, we can, you know, for football terms, we can squeeze and scrape it, and then we'll have like a linebacker one-on-one with Lamar Jackson. Like, ideally, if you draw it up, yeah, that's great. Like, to get a free runner at Lamar Jackson in the open field, but that guy still got to make the tackle on Lamar Jackson in the open field. Or, you know, or even if you go like the other way, you key on Derrick Henry, someone still has to tackle Derrick Henry before he gets going. Like, it's a lot easier said than done. And, you know, you can draw it up however you want to on the whiteboard, and it can make sense. But at the end of the day, like, you have to get those guys on the ground. You have to force negative plays, and that's just the truth of it. You know, you talk to coaches, and they'll go, X's and O's are important, but Jimmy and Joe's are a little bit more important, because that's why, to me, the Ravens are here. It's why you know, they have kind of like cemented themselves as real deal Super Bowl champions again. So. It's time. It's time to go on the run, and I think that like this, you know, getting Lamar like a real Robin, even calling Derrick Henry a Robin feels
right. Yeah, I get it.
In the backfield, like this is just like, this is really the kind of player that they needed, and it's just so cool to see that at age 31, you know, he can still take this is kind of crazy to say, as I turned 31 this year myself.
Oh God,
at age 31.
What a miracle! A miracle that you.
I know. Yeah. That he can take 350 carries, and it's just all right. Well, you know, it's pretty crazy.
And Charles, as you know, there are people. You know, when people make the argument about MVP, and look, it looks now like it's going to be Lamar based on what we learned from all pro voting last week. But there would be people that would argue, well, you know, Derrick Henry detracts from Lamar Jackson's MVP case. And I understand what they think they're saying. I do. But, like, it required I think to me it required Lamar Jackson to be that much better, which he was, obviously, like had one of the greatest quarterback seasons of all time. And you saw how much better Derrick Henry was because of Lamar Jackson. Like, that's the definition of value that I think we're missing in this conversation when somebody tries to make it detrimental to Lamar, that Derrick Henry's there. Like, no, Lamar Jackson is making Derrick Henry better at an age where, as you point out, we assume that running backs can't even play any longer, more or less, you know, arguably be the best in the NFL still.
Yeah. I mean, this is good for, I think, the whole league, really. And it was really cool to see, because I think I honestly had less questions about Derrick Henry, I guess, if he was still, you know, at his peak, because, you know, I mean, dude, he just doesn't make sense, right? Like, you're 6'3", 250, running a 4.4. Like, you'll get your ass to defensive end. I don't know. Maybe that's just the former defensive line coach speaking to me. But you're looking at him, and even guys like the other two guys that really came to mind were Saquon Barkley and even Josh Jacobs, because man, you watch some of the stuff where Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, their last year with the Giants and Packers respectively, and you're like, man, I don't know like how much is left in the tank with these guys, and then they get into like functional organizations. You're like, oh wait, no, they're actually still really good, really dominant players. So maybe it'll shift like how people view running backs and how we view the valuation of it. I think it also helps recently, like the last time you had 2 first-round picks in the draft at running back, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, both of those guys have turned into
they're stars,
or, star running backs that continue to get better. So I like, even if you look at this year's draft, and you see what's happened, let's call it the past 2 years between the free agent signings and the running back draft, and you're looking at someone like Ashton Jeanty in like the top 20, I think that becomes a lot more defensible as a position. And also, I'm also just kind of the belief, like, I'm a Falcons fan. I was not, I wasn't like the happiest person like when they picked Bijan Robinson, but I certainly don't regret having him on my team. Like,
no,
like
that's not your problem, right?
So,
yeah,
right. That's not my problem, and they would be a lot worse off if they didn't have him. And I think that not all. I think someone who studies analytics like every day, I'm looking at the stuff all day. I don't think that we have everything that encapsulates like just how important some of these guys are. So I think running game's back. Running game's back for sure. And I just hope that all of these guys who are talented runners get to play in, just unbelievable situations like Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs have this year, where they can showcase their talent instead of running to the back of their offensive line for 4 years.
Charles, the Ravens defense was miserable to start the season, was the worst pass defense in the NFL, and then since week 11, they were statistically the best defense in the NFL. And obviously opponents matter in the conversation, and we know some of the changes that they made. The concern was that last week some of the big plays crept back in the second half, where the Steelers just said, oh, hell, let's let Russ toss up the moon balls and we'll see what happens. And it was working for a little bit. I keep talking to people of this week, and they tell me that's not really the Bills' thing. Like, they don't go outside the hashes all that much. Is the matchup for the Ravens defense a favorable one against the Bills? Or, given what we've seen from Brandon Stevens in particular, are you concerned about maybe some of the old tendencies of the Ravens defense, like, creeping back in?
Well, like, the Bills' offense is definitely in a better place than the first game they played. Like, dude, if this game is 35, 38-10, I would be pretty surprised. But I do think one area Baltimore has some real advantages. Like, they're like, even if you're scared of Brandon Stevens, like, dude, Nate Wiggins has been one of the better cornerbacks in football this year. Marlon Humphrey, to me, has had an all-pro season. So those two guys alone, Cedro and Kyle Hamilton too, like, those three guys are way more talented than like any one pass catcher that Buffalo has, right? And to me, that's what happened in the first game, where you're Josh Allen and you're looking down the field and no one's open. And that was one of the rare good early season performances from the Ravens defense against Josh Allen and the Bills of all teams. And it was really just Josh looking down the field like, oh crap, like, my receivers just flat out aren't getting open. They didn't have a whole lot of separation. And I remember that was one of Marlon's best games of the season. Since then, Nate Wiggins has become a much bigger part of the defense as well. So, the tough part about Buffalo, I don't think it's not necessarily like how you defend the pass or, how well you can smother their receivers. It's just like, all right, Josh Allen's going to make like 10 cyborg plays a game. Can you survive them?
Mm-hmm.
And the same is true for the other side, for Buffalo's defense too with Lamar Jackson. But in terms of just the Ravens defense, I think you really do have the talent advantage on the outside. But there's just one singular gravitational force that has lit the NFL on fire over the past it's called 4 or 5 games, and that's the key. Like, if he plays that poorly again, then shoot, I would feel good about punching a ticket to New Orleans. But you still got to play the game, still got to get Josh Allen on the ground, have big plays, and to kind of take it one play at a time.
Yeah.
But like the moving Kyle Hamilton to safety, and their numbers since then being like the unequivocal number one defense in football, that's a trend that matters too.
This is what do we always say? The ball's not round, right? Like, I think the Ravens are the better of these two teams. I really do. Like, I just think they have more. As good as Josh Allen is, as good as what the Bills present. But, it's a game in Buffalo on a Sunday night, and it's going to be miserable and goofy. Like, I can only have so much confidence about a game like this, even though I do genuinely believe the Ravens are the better of these two teams.
Oh yeah, it's the playoffs, right? I think the Ravens are better too. I thought the Ravens were better than the Chiefs last year. I still do. I still think the Ravens were a better team than the Chiefs last year.
Of course.
But you have to play the game. Shoot, I think even Chris Jones after the Super Bowl said the Ravens were a better team. So you have to play the games. You have to win the games. But I do think they handle business this weekend. It's just tough to me that in playoff football, and I know these are cliches that people don't believe in, but I still do believe in some of them. If we can run for a goddamn 300 yards on 50 carries, I'm not putting the ball in the air. There's no reason to. And that's not a slight on Lamar Jackson. Like, that's what makes him great. You can add someone like Derrick Henry, and Lamar's gravitational pull as a runner himself is so great that you don't have to throw the ball that much if you don't want to. Oh, and if you do, we have a quarterback that threw 41 touchdowns, 4 picks. Like, it's just there's too much to defend there. Those two guys are just playing at such a high level. I was off on the offensive line. The offensive line's been great this year. Roger Rosengarten just pitched like a shutout to T.J. Watt in the first round of the playoffs. So they've got more juice there than I thought they had in August. So, dude, go get it. Like, just like take the Marshawn Lynch video, run through MF face over and over and over again until you hoist Lombardi. That would be my plan if I was Baltimore.
I am entirely with you, man. Like, and by the way, if there was ever a place to do it, it would be Buffalo. Like, on a primetime game where it's going to be 0 degrees outside. That's exactly what you go do, is just go shove it down their throats. All right, what can we plug for you podcast-wise, everything that you're doing for Yahoo now?
Oh, yeah. Check out a podcast, Football 301, that we do with Nate Tyson, Matt Harmon. Nate and I are on every Sunday and Thursday. Matt and Nate are on every Tuesday. We got a whole bunch of columns, articles, blah, blah, blah. You know the jazz at Yahoo Sports. And I'll be down at the Shrine game in Dallas next week, trying to chase down Shador and Dion, and then heading to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. So hopefully we'll see you all there.
Hopefully that is the case. Charles, always appreciate. Have you migrated over to Blue Sky from Twitter? Is that what I'm sensing?
I am on Blue Sky now. I'm a Forrester on Blue Sky. I don't really use the other website now. I think it deteriorated a little bit too much.
I understand it entirely. I'm just clicking follow now on Forverts on Blue Sky, so I've got that. Always appreciate you, bro. Thank you for doing this. Let's talk soon. All right.
All right, absolutely.
Charles McDonald, Pride of McDonogh, with us here on GCR. I keep coming back to that. Like, I think the Ravens are better. Now ask me if I'm confident.
Are you confident?
Nope.
What?
Nope, not confident at all. But in my heart of hearts, they're the better football team. They should win when they play the Bills. But believe it or not everything that should happen happens. It's just the nature of the beast. Whatever happens, we'll be talking about it on Project Game Day immediately following the game. PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day. Myself, Rita, Femi, KZ, Stecca, Griffin. You never know who's popping in. Celebrities, cameos, superstars. I had forgotten. Trippy reminded me the one time that we were doing Game Day and Mike McDonald. Like, he was just standing outside the stadium. Okay. And he just handed the phone to Mike McDonald, who clearly had no, it was Todd. That's what it was, Todd. It was Todd Monken. Because remember, Trippy's always like, Todd, remember, it's 4 quarters, Todd. That was always Trippy's thing. And he just hands Todd Monken the phone, and Todd Monken clearly has no idea what he's doing. He's like, hey, guys. And then, like, it hits him, like, halfway through. So we start talking to him. He's like, I definitely needed to, like, get this approved by the Ravens. I'm not just supposed to be doing... Like, Trippy handed me the phone. I'm now doing an interview. He's like, guys, I got to go.
Like, what did you say? You say good game plan, coach?
Yeah,
or was it a bad game plan day?
No, it was a good day. It was a very good day. We're like, hey. And it was a very funny moment where, like, he was happy to see us. He was chatty. And then all of a sudden it, like, hits him in 1 second. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. That's not the way this is supposed to work. I'm supposed to I only do pre-approved interviews or whatever. So then he was like, sorry, guys, I gotta head off. We're like, we get it. See you, Todd. So you just never know. You never know who's popping in during Project Game Day. We'll find out on Sunday. PressBoxOnline.com/game day. All brought to you by Easy Pass, 1-800-GAMBLER, and the CIAA tournament. I was trying to think if there was anything else that we missed from the last 24 hours. We get the first injury report of the week for the Ravens coming up a little bit later on today.
Yes, finally, what's the last time we played
I did. I honest
like,
to God had that feeling. I almost put up the Titanic meme that it's been 70-some years or whatever. Like, it feels like it has been effing forever. The Giants game was the last Sunday game. The
Ravens like a full
played.
Month.
Yeah, legitimately. Since they played a Sunday game. So, yes, we get the first. We've been used to.
That was December 15th.
We've had Tuesday injury reports. We've had Sunday injury reports in the last month. But, no, we'll get the first injury report of the week will be today. Obviously we'll all be looking for what happens with Zay Flowers. Like, that will be the.
I think instinctively in the rundown I put, we'll talk about Zay Flowers update. And then.
And then you realize there is no Zay Flowers update. Oh, right. We haven't talked about Deontay Johnson. That is fair. And it was on my list for today. I got nothing really to say. It's what made all of the conjecture. And I remember, like, Femi trying to give hey, don't judge somebody at their worst moment. Try to make it work. And I appreciated what he was saying, and he thought that's what the Ravens were trying to do. As it turns out, the Ravens were – I don't know what they were trying to do, genuinely. I don't know why they didn't, in hindsight. Maybe something else happened. Maybe – after they really were trying to see if they could figure out a way to make it work, and then went back to him the next week and he said, no, I'm out. And that it might very well be that was their thought process, is try to figure out a way that we can smooth this over. The hilarity of it always to me was the idea that, like, you're holding on for a compensatory pick. What? And we would say that if we looked at, like, all-time bag fumbling, we would say Deontay Johnson's up there. But what did Deontay Johnson actually accomplish that was going to get him in the world where every receiver is going to get some money? No doubt. Deontay Johnson has cost himself money. There's no question. But, like, we're not going to act like Deontay Johnson was in line to get like massive, crazy break the bank money. He hadn't accomplished anything that would lead to that being the way that he would have been perceived. But I get it. It's a prime position in the NFL, and anyone who's even capable of playing the position is in line to get money. But he wasn't going to be it's funny, I'm going to say this. If I say he wasn't going to be the number one receiver in the free agent market, the truth is most receivers don't ever make the free agent market. So I couldn't even tell you who would actually be a free agent at the wide receiver position next year.
And like T. Higgins is
but
is the one, I guess. Yeah.
If the Bengals don't figure something. And
right,
that's
exactly.
That's the way that this tends to work, is that
Chris Godwin, I think, is apparently.
You look at the list, you're like, oh, that would be intriguing. And then by the time you actually get to free agency, none of them are available. It's the reason why Christian Kirk once broke the freaking bank in Jacksonville, and it turns out he was a hell of a player. But when it happened, we were all like,
Christian Kirk?
Really?
Yeah.
So if you want to make the argument that Deontay Johnson had a chance to be this year's Christian, I don't know who that – it was also unique. The Jaguars couldn't get anybody to play there. They had to spend the money because you have a salary floor. So the Jaguars had to overpay players to get them to go to Jacksonville. So – I don't know who that team would have been that just had money to spend, had to spend it on the Patriots maybe. They were just like, well, we got to spend it on somebody. I don't know if I don't know if that's what they would look to have done it on, but like maybe there was some world where Deontay Johnson just shows up in Baltimore, plays, maybe doesn't put up big numbers, but isn't a problem, changes his reputation. And the Patriots, with all this money to spend, there's somebody else that has a boatload of money to spend, right? Isn't there another team that has a ton of cap space that's been talked about? This is not where we are. We're worried about football games here. We don't have to worry about the off season.
Bears? No, that's not right. That's not right. Vegas?
Vegas does have
Washington.
Washington has some cap space. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So could you find
Vikings
a world?
Have a rookie quarterback, so Vikings are going to.
But they've got money in other. They have money in other.
I don't know.
Guys.
I'm looking.
But the point,
yeah,
being like maybe Deontay Johnson is, shows up in Baltimore, does everything the right way, the Ravens make a run, and even if he's not putting up huge numbers, teams look at him and say, well, we got to spend the money on somebody. And so they would have given him money. Not top of the market money, but real money.
It is Washington, Vegas, New England all have 90-plus available.
Okay. Those
90 million plus.
Yeah, maybe one of those teams.
New England at 126, by far the most.
Yeah, New England, it's insane.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, maybe one of those teams does. I don't know, but he's getting something. If he at least, isn't an a-hole, if he at least it can change his reputation with teams, then he's getting some money. But by the point we got to in Baltimore, the idea that you wanted to just suspend him the rest of the way to try to get a compensatory pick for him, it was nonsense. Like, at best, you're thinking maybe at that point somebody still wants to pay him something and you could qualify for a seventh round, maybe? Not the type of reason why you just hold on to a guy and just keep him suspended. This is, like, there's a culture thing that's involved with this where if the problem in Houston really was that, like, and so this is the argument that you saw from people down there. After Saturday's game, all of the rest of the players are excited. They're fired up. They're smoking cigars, which is way over the top, by the way. Like, I got to be honest. That's a little embarrassing. Like,
come on.
You want a home playoff game.
One of the final eight teams.
It's a little embarrassing. It's really only speaking to we were so bad that no one thought we could do this. So now, we did it. It's not winning one play. You could make a better argument that the Commanders could do that because it had been 20 years since they had won a playoff game. The Texans won a playoff game last year. Winning one wild card playoff game is not the type of accomplishment that probably should lead to cigars in the locker room. But for whatever,
go back to what Jim Nantz said. This is what being a Ravens fan has,
I understand.
Has done to
No.
the city.
No. Way big. I wouldn't want the Ravens to be smoking cigars after one playoff win. I understand. But the Texans aren't the team. They've won playoff games. Again, if the Commanders did it, I'd be like, okay, I kind of get it. It's been legitimately 20 years
They were underdogs
since the franchise has won a playoff game. For the Texans, it's been 1 year. What they've accomplished this year is now the exact same as what they accomplished a year ago.
You could go on the road to the 1 seed.
Now, if they do that, much better argument. If they went and beat the Chiefs this week, I could absolutely understand smoking. Whatever. I'm not going to knock. If people smoke cigars, they smoke cigars. But it still seemed a little bit over the top. They were smoking cigars in the locker room.
You just don't like cigars.
No, I love cigars, actually. That's the difference. I don't know about indoors. That's a bit much. Like, I don't know about that decision-making. But whatever.
So how did I guess, did we talk about it last year when Max Crosby and the Raiders were smoking cigars after their first win with Antonio Pierce?
I don't remember that at all.
They were smoking cigars in the locker room after a regular season win.
Oh God!
It could have been the game that. Remember they scored 60 on that Thursday night. Maybe it was.
Okay. Maybe
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, whatever. I'm not really trying to fight about it, honestly. But so that's the story is.
I'll bring it up from now on every time I see it.
The rest of the team is so excited about winning this game that they're in this jubilant mood, and then Deontay Johnson is petulant and is not celebrating. And it's a weird vibe because a lot of guys are hard on themselves after a win. And if they screw up on a play and the team wins, take the Ravens win over the Cowboys earlier this year. There were a lot of guys that were not interested in celebrating that day. They had no – remember, that was the game where Lamar Jackson shut down Marlon Humphrey and said, dude, what are we doing? Like we didn't play well enough for us to be doing. We got to get better. And I'm telling you, and talking to a few different players that week, like there were a lot of guys that told me, dude, it was not a celebratory like feeling. It was okay, we won, but this still isn't good enough, and we still got to get better. Now there was more of a celebratory feeling after like the Bills game, and other.
I mean, and to your point, I felt like there really wasn't too many like every win Lamar obviously always being the one of the first guys to speak is, I mean, no, it was good. But
and the Ravens
more,
are in a different place, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're going into the season with the intention to win the Super Bowl. But that doesn't mean that you don't enjoy wins. Like, the Ravens were enjoying even the win over the Browns. They were posing for pictures afterwards, and they were celebrating, and that's fine. It's okay to celebrate wins. But everybody's different. So that's the weird part about this conversation. If what they're faulting Deontay Johnson for is the dichotomy between the entire team is celebrating except you're the one guy who's a problem. I would tell you that there are other instances after wins where guys might be fired up and other guys might not be. Now, I do remember famously that it was a problem in Arizona with Anquan Boldin, who to me is the epitome of football, right? Like, he is pissed off for greatness, the way that Ray Lewis might say it. Anquan Boldin, they win the NFC Championship game, and Anquan Boldin's not celebrating. Like, doesn't want to be a part of it, has no interest. And just because he expects more. And it's a fine line, but he's Anquan Boldin. Now, still, the Cardinals chose to move on from Anquan Boldin. Part of that being they had to pay Larry Fitzgerald. Like, you can't pay everybody. Like, it's a more complicated conversation than just running to run Anquan Boldin off. But still, that did happen. They moved on from Anquan Boldin. And I don't know how much of that was like, hey, the rest of the team was celebrating and you weren't. In Baltimore, they ran him off too, despite the fact that, he kind of carried them to a Super Bowl. Crazy. Deontay Johnson has no room to be that guy, is the problem. If you're Deontay Johnson and you're the guy that's not, you have no equity. If you're the guy that's causing a problem, there's nothing in other places. If Anquan Boldin's not celebrating after a win, dude, we get it. He's Anquan Boldin. Like, we might not love it. He's Anquan Boldin.
Be who you can afford to be, right? That's the
Deontay Johnson has no equity to do anything other than fall in line. And he has no interest in falling in line. And some people would say, well, would you want him to fake it? There are people that would genuinely say, you want him to change who he is and fake it? And it's a tough conversation to have. Like, I tell you guys all the time, I know that I'd be in a better place professionally if I would just do the bad shtick. If I would just do that nonsense, LeBron versus MJ. Like, if I would just do that crap, I'd be in a better place professionally.
I'm leaning LeBron right now.
Thank you. What, you mean today if they were to play? I still don't know that I would say it's impossible. Like, I think you're right, but like, if I just did that crap, I'd be in a better place professionally, because that's what they want. People to stir the pot. They want people to get attention, just whatever it is. I remember trying to do that a little bit when I first got into radio, and then feeling I need to be able to look myself in the mirror. I need to be able to say, did I do a good job today? Did I present something that was worthy of being taken in? And if I don't feel that way, I don't care how much success I have. If I'm doing a show for John in Little Rock and John Proctor and Chris Erich, good man. Thank you. I love you, Chris. Chris got in for the Zay Flowers thing yesterday. He always reminds me that he enjoys when Drew and I are together, though, and I don't like that. Don't like that.
No, Chris is a good man.
He is a good man.
Yeah.
He's a very good man. He's one of my favorite people of all time. Like, Chris and I have a lengthy history, and the way that we became friends because he trashed us on the internet. That's straight shoot, and he hates when I bring it up. But I love Chris. I love him.
You probably deserved it, I'm sure.
I might have. I don't know. I might have. I love him. He's truly one of the best people I know. But if that's who I'm doing the show for, I'd rather do a show for that group of people than for the group of people that want lowest common denominator. I say that. If somebody said to me, yes, tomorrow, $5 million, you can host that show, I'd think about it.
FS1 might
I'd think about it.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know. Everybody's still there right now.
Yeah, that's true. I guess maybe not. Maybe not.
They're all. I don't know how that's going to flush out in the end, but they're all still there today. Just tweeting right through it. just moving on like nothing ever happened. But that's where I am, and it's a similar thought process here. Somebody would say, well, Deontay Johnson can't change who he is. He wants to be more involved. He wants to be great, and he's pissed off when he's not great. And I don't know enough of the details to know Like, what he did in Baltimore is unacceptable, period. To my knowledge, he didn't try to storm off the field in Houston. I don't think he, refused to go in. I mean, he played in the game on Saturday. I don't know if there's more to the story. If the story really is just that it's the dichotomy of they looked in the locker room and everybody was happy except one guy, and they said, we're not doing it with this one guy. That's their call. It's hilarious how many people immediately said, well, you know what he's doing. He's signing with Kansas City this week. You know how this is going to go. He's going to sign with Kansas City. He's going to catch a touchdown on Saturday. If I'm Kansas City, nah. They can say all they want about, hey, we've made it work with all sorts of different personalities and all sorts of, nah, I'm good on this one.
Do all they have to do is sign him to the practice squad, or is it?
I guess that was all they would have to do in order to elevate him for a few games.
And that would be his 5th? No, 4th.
Well, he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, he was traded to Carolina before the season.
Yeah.
But if you want to say in a calendar year,
in a calendar.
In a calendar year, he's been a Steeler, a Panther, a Raven, and a Texan. And to the point, if he gets on another one of the playoff teams this weekend, he'll have a 37.5 chance. It's 37.5% chance of getting a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Really, really incredible when you think about it. You hear those stories.
That's just all he wanted, too.
You hear those stories of, I try to remember, who was it a few years ago that got to the World Series and it didn't matter because he had been on both teams? So he was like, I'm getting a ring one way or the other.
Was that? It was one of the Dodgers.
I think it was.
Series.
I don't remember who it was, though. I don't remember. It was, because to the point, I do think it was one they lost, right?
So was that the Reds 18 then? That's I don't know.
Or did they? I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but I do remember there being a story about that.
Yeah, that sounds.
Look, I've got no more interest in piling on Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson has his own troubles. I think that there will be a team next season that would be inclined to at least give him another look and see if he can't get it figured out. But it is very rare. Once you become this guy, it's really hard to not be this guy.
Apparently, Taylor Trammell this season played for both the Dodgers and Yankees.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the one that you're
he was
playing in the series.
Yes, he was in the series, but it didn't matter.
This Taylor Trammell one is the one that just keeps coming up.
Okay. There was another one. There definitely was another one. Whatever. Anyway, Deontay Johnson gone from the Texans after all those memories that he created over the last couple of weeks. No longer a Houston Texan.
All famous, NFL history.
Yep, we'll always have the memories. When we come back in,
I can't believe the Saints are still in cap hell. I can't believe that. I thought it'd be dying down. They're still $57 million.
They paid a lot of money to Derek Carr too.
Yeah,
don't forget that. They went in for Derek. Derek Carr was their answer. It wasn't a Sam Darnold stopgap. They signed Derek Carr to be their answer at quarterback.
There's 5 teams over the cap, and they're all the 4 are somewhere between 5 and 25 million. So not good, but very doable.
Yeah, you can get
$57 million.
Yeah, it's insane.
The Saints have to.
They're effed. They're effed. Now some of that predates, Derek. A lot of that predates Derek Carr.
Guys are lining up to head coach that team.
Could you imagine? I mean, look again. There's 32. There's 32 of these jobs. Somebody will take it, but. If you believe you have a long NFL head coaching future or that somebody else would want you next year and that's your option, you're just praying for a miracle. That's really what you're doing. You're taking the job and praying for a miracle. You're praying that they're the team that drafts Jalen Milroe and that Jalen Milroe, it just clicks somehow and he just becomes this stud. The likelihood of it, slim.
Played really well at LSU that one time. So maybe,
he did.
Maybe
it's not like he has no talent. He has talent, but that's what you're doing. If you're taking the Saints job and praying for a miracle. Yes, there's amount
Quinn
of.
Ewers just declared, maybe.
That's true. He did declare. I think we all knew that he was.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was a.
But I guess there's because there was still a chance.
Yeah,
that he
had
could
to formalize
back,
it. But I think we all knew that was. Yeah. Although in fairness, Carson Beck declared and then said, "How much money? My hot girlfriend."
Yeah.
I think I'm good here. I think I'm good here. What's gonna
Miami?
What's gonna happen otherwise? I'm gonna go in the 5th round. Right. Yeah, this is all right. This seems pretty good to me. Where's the beach? Yeah, okay. I'll do this. We'll see you there. Come back in. We'll get a tidbit and we'll get 2-bit or wind down for a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their amazingly scrumptious, fat, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. Every season is crab season at Costas, so make your plans now by calling 410-477-1975 and reserve your taste of heaven. Sit back, crack some crabs, and watch the Ravens chase down another title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday nights, Costas offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30, and there are nightly specials Monday through Friday. So head on down to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now, and it's our very special Best of 2024 issue. On the cover, we celebrate our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, Lamar Jackson, as Bo Smolka profiles what the quarterback means to the community beyond the football field. Also inside, we celebrate the top people, performances, and moments of the year in local sports. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always read the entire issue and find the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
I'm sorry. A company that I need a password for, and as you'd imagine, there's a lot of them. I have a lot of jobs. Just sent me an email that said, "Good news, your complicated password situation," because this is a company that has asked me to change my password like every month. We're gonna fix that. We're no longer gonna ask you to change it. Good news. Instead, you got to come up with a 16-letter password,
Easy.
and then that'll be your password forever.
Lamar Jackson
What?
MVP. Is that 16?
I'm literally about to say the F word.
What? Lamar Jackson MVP 3. I think that's 16 right there.
Lamar's 5, Jackson's 7, MVP, and the number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Now, did I put it in which letters did I put in uppercase? Did I put MVP
Just
all in
Lamar?
uppercase?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you should put. I would put MVP all uppercase. I don't know.
I've got a thumbprint. Just let me use my damn thumbprint.
Just get it tattooed on your arm or something.
Yeah, then that'll solve everything. And I get it. Every company has to be sent. We don't want people. I get it. Security matters, all that. But god damn.
Get your password tattooed on your arm and you have the wrong letter capital.
Because I see this email come over. I'm like, oh, that's good. We want that. That's good news. The next thing I see is no longer going to have to change your password all the time. I'm like, hallelujah. Because all I've ever done is just added one more exclamation point every time they ask me to change it. And then I just have to guess how many exclamation points I'm up to. I think I'm at 7, I think. 16 characters. I don't know 16 characters.
Sound like from Elf when he's like 6-inch ribbon curls.
God,
6 inches.
All right. Very good. Let's wind down. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by the CIAA tournament.
That's right. It's coming back. The excitement of the Food Line CIAA men's and women's basketball tournament is coming back to Baltimore at the CFG Bank Arena from February 25th through March 1st. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Again, get your tickets now, Ticketmaster.com for the Food Line CIAA men's and women's basketball tournament at CFG Bank Arena. All right, just continue to touch on some playoff ones over the weekend. I did like this one. Someone shared the last time that Mike Tomlin won a playoff game, the top 5 songs.
The Cowboys might have the answer, by the way. They're going to interview Robert Saleh. So, sure, that they're not allowed to interview all of the coaches that people would want, but they'll just solve that by interviewing Robert Saleh. They can still interview Rex.
Good guy.
Yeah, they'd be allowed to interview him.
Robert Saleh seemed like a nice guy in Hard Knocks
Seemed
last
like
year.
Sure, whatever.
So he shared the top 5 songs in the country at the time of the last Mike Tomlin playoff win.
Oh, boy. So this would have been 17?
Yeah, so it would have been January of 2017.
Is there a Taylor Swift song in there?
There is not.
Is there a Rihanna song in there?
No.
Is there a Beyonce song?
Mm-mm.
Well, I've just named all of music.
These are all very poppy. Like they were. It's funny looking at the list because I was like a junior in high school, so I loved all 5 of these songs.
Miley Cyrus.
No Miley Cyrus.
2017. Ed Sheeran.
No Ed Sheeran.
Oh boy. 2000. That wasn't the Chainsmokers, was it?
Chainsmokers was top 5.
Was it? Which one was it? Was it Paris?
Not Paris.
It was. Baby, hold me closer in the backseat of your Rover. Then I know you can't afford write that tattoo. Whatever. I don't know.
Roommate back in Boulder.
Yeah, we ain't never getting older.
It was called Closer. Yes.
Yeah.
That was number 3 at the time.
Okay, dig it. Bruno Mars.
Mars was in there. Yeah. What song? What Bruno Mars song was?
This is after Uptown Funk. This is 2017. For you, that's what I like. That's what I. Is that it?
No, I think that came out a little more recently. That's what I like. Yeah, that came out like in the last 2 or 3 years.
Is it really?
That's
got to be older.
That's the
than
one
that.
with like Anderson .Paak, right? Yeah.
No, that was the Silk Sonic song. No,
Yeah.
That's not Silk Sonic. No,
No, it's not Silk Sonic.
you
That's
stupid.
what I you're right. I think it is the same album.
Open.
That one's
that
Silk
was the
Sonic.
Silk Sonic
Yeah.
song.
Okay, yeah, that's what I
It
like.
was a jam.
I think was the same album as this one, but it's different.
Same album as this one. Bruno Mars song. Same album. So that's what I like. What the hell else was? God, I am old, man. What the hell is going on here? I can't even come up with it. Don't do
Okay,
that. Don't do
okay,
that.
okay.
That's embarrassing. It was a 24 karat magic.
Yeah, 24
Is that what it
Karat
was?
Magic,
Okay.
24
All
Karat
right.
Magic. That was number 4. Closer 3.
Okay. All right.
Bruno
We're
Mars
getting
at
there.
4.
Who else could have been in the top?
The one, I don't think
Post Malone. Was there a Post
there was
Malone
not
song?
a Post Malone song, at least not in the top 5.
It's popular. They were all poppy. You said.
Mm-hmm.
Maroon 5.
No Maroon 5. I guess the remaining 3 are more like kind of R&B ish, and you could
More
say a little
R&B ish.
Say hip hop, I guess. The one at 5 is like you're never gonna guess the artist name, but it was like everyone was playing this song. I'm trying to think of what
was it? Okay, is it The Weeknd?
No, well the Weeknd is on the list. Weeknd had the number 1 song at the time.
It's 2017, so this is before the Starboy.
Yep, Starboy. Starboy was number 1.
Okay. Something I wouldn't think of the artist, but the song was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't think of the artist, but the song was everywhere. I don't know. And it's R&B.
Yeah. Well, I guess this one's more. I don't know how I would describe the. I mean, I guess it's technically rap. I guess.
It's rap. Bad Bunny?
No, not Bad Bunny. It was the first word of the song. There's a wide receiver that has the first name.
Wide receiver that has the first name.
And I guess he was in college at this time. I think.
A wide receiver.
Yeah. Catching touchdowns in the Rose Bowl.
Catching touchdowns in the Rose Bowl. And is this all right? You've actually made this more difficult for me to get to.
Okay. Should I just give you the school that he was at? I don't know.
But I'm still confused. Like the name of the song title.
Yeah, the first word in the song title.
The first word in the song title.
And that still might not help you, because I'm just not sure how familiar you'll be with this song.
Christ.
USC receiver.
A USC receiver has the same name. Juju on that beat?
Yeah, Juju on that beat. By Zay Hilfiger and Zion.
I couldn't tell you who did that song ever.
Zion McCall.
We could have been here for a year, and I wouldn't have come up with who did Juju on that beat.
Juju on that beat was number 5. And then the number 2 song, I would assume you know this one. I'm trying to think.
It's
without
very,
giving it away.
very old man response.
Yeah.
This is without giving.
It was played for what was the stupid trend? It was the that one where
the Harlem Shake.
No, not Harlem Shake.
Because that was stupid.
That was a good trend.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it was
great
very
trend.
stupid.
I was in like middle school during Harlem Shake. It was awesome. And did they play it for some? Maybe they did do it for. I forget. I don't know. It was
okay. This is not helpful. Yesterday, I gave you second base Hall of Fame. Name starts with R.
Their name starts with R, yeah.
Okay, good.
Or I guess his name.
His name starts with R.
No, yeah, it was a band. They're a band.
They're a band.
Or a duo. They're a duo.
What the hell are we doing here? It's a duo.
RS, the two initials.
RS. Oh, Ray Sremmerd.
Yeah. Yes.
Black Beatles.
Black Beatles was number 2. Starboy, Black Beatles closer, 24K. Magic and Juju on that beat.
Boy, that was an adventure, actually.
Time capsule to Mike Tomlin's last playoff win.
Now, give me the ones in the Commanders' last playoff win.
All right, I'll work on.
I was 22.
I'll work on that
See
one.
I can come up with. I wasn't even 22. I was 21, I guess. Whatever I was.
Lamar and Henry combined for 267 rushing yards in Saturday's playoff win. Second most rushing yards in a playoff game by a quarterback running back duo.
Can't believe it's only the second most. Was it the game? There was a game where like Colin Kaepernick ran for 1 billion yards.
Colin Kaepernick
and
was part of it.
And Frank Gore.
Kaepernick and Frank Gore in.
Yeah, I do. What year? 11.
No,
12.
Well, I guess it would have been it would have been the 11 season then.
Yeah,
the 2012 divisional playoffs against the Green Bay.
Right.
300.
So
that had to be the Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was the 12th season.
The 12th season. It's January 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then Ladd McConkey set the rookie receiving yard record in a playoff game with 197.
You're going to ask me about other rookie. There's no chance. None.
In the top 8 here.
Come on. It's not a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Just
single game rookie receiving record.
Just throwing out names. Randy Moss.
2 guys got their not Randy Moss. 2 guys from last season put their names on this list.
2 guys from last season put their names on this list. Rookie receivers last year. I can't remember who was a rookie. Puka.
Yep, Puka. He held the record for about a year. 181 last year. Before Ladd McConkey.
See, but I wouldn't have remembered that Puka had a huge, who else was a rookie last year? Oh, Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice, 130, eighth most by a rookie in a game.
Okay. Now I'm just back to just naming receivers. Jamar Chase.
No Jamar
Justin
Chase.
Jefferson.
No Jefferson.
Antonio Brown.
No. 2013 rookie. In the top 5 here.
13 rookie. I don't remember what year receivers were. It's not going to help me.
He's still active.
He's still 2013. Still active. So he's been in the league for a decade. Mike Evans.
Not Mike Evans.
Isn't that about right though for Mike Evans?
Because
it's 11 years.
So they were the same class then. I guess they were the same class.
Oh, Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, yeah. Are they the same class?
I don't remember if they were the same class or not. That's a good question.
But yeah, Keenan Allen 142 yards and 20 in his playoff.
Okay.
Well, I guess that wasn't his debut. Yeah, it was in the divisional round in 2014. A 2009 rookie.
Are you serious?
For the Eagles.
Deshaun Jackson.
Not Deshaun Jackson.
Jeremy Maclin.
Jeremy Maclin, 146. The guy number 3 on this list, a 2019 rookie.
2019 rookie. That was the year
Mike Evans was a rookie the following year, 2014.
So 2019 would have been Hollywood Brown, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not Hollywood Brown.
Thank you. But I'm trying to remember who the other were. DK Metcalf.
Yes, DK Metcalf.
Okay.
160. Hollywood Brown, by the way.
I remember how much we used to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because it was N'Keal Harry too, right? And
it was
like
Brown.
It was like the second group of receivers was all better than the first group of
Deebo
receivers.
Samuel.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin was that class. It was that class was ridiculous.
Well, some of it was.
Yeah.
Not N'Keal Harry.
Hollywood Brown at 126 yards, by the way, is 11th most by a rookie.
Well, how about that? You
You
just wanted to exclude him because you hate him?
Well, I mean, did you want to try to guess
No.
Bobby Burnett and Billy Cannon?
Oh, is this the list? Is this all I had to get?
No. Those
Oh,
are
God.
9 and 10. That's why I cut off Billy Cannon and Bobby Burnett. Austin Colley's top 12.
Oh, how about that? We could have been here for a year.
How about this? How about a 1987 or
Oh,
it is an 1988 Eagles rookie.
Eagles rookie? Irving Fryer.
Not Irving Fryer.
88 Eagles rookie. Receiver? Because it could it be a tight end? Because it could be Keith Jackson?
It is Keith Jackson.
No
yes.
S.
Yeah, Keith Jackson. There you go. And then the other one also not a receiver. He was a 2006 rookie.
Not a receiver. I couldn't do the tight ends in 2006.
He's not a tight end.
Oh, he's a running back. Again. What are we doing? Darren Sproles.
Not Darren Sproles.
I was caught in 2006. Who would have caught passes? LT was before that, right? He wasn't.
LT
06.
was before that.
And LaShawn McCoy was after that, I think.
Yeah.
I think he was after that.
Had to be, yeah.
I think he was after that. I don't know. A rookie running back that caught in 06?
Mm-hmm. Team famously traded just about everything for him.
Ricky Williams?
Not Ricky Williams.
Who else did they?
Didn't this team trade a lot for this running back in the top 5?
Might have traded a lot, but the team that traded everything.
Right.
The Ricky Williams trade was one that they traded everything. I don't know. Traded into the. Oh, is it Reggie Bush?
Reggie Bush.
I don't remember how much. I don't think it was that much. I think they traded up for him, but I don't know that it was. Hang on a second.
Yeah, now I want to find out how poor my information was. Second overall pick.
Hang on.
Did they not trade anything for him?
Did they just have the pick?
Yeah, did they? Wait, maybe
Hang on
I
a
was
second.
completely wrong there.
Bush selected by the New Saints by the end of the week after the draft. Yeah, I mean, it looks like
Yeah,
I think you're just confused because the Saints were the team that did that for Ricky Williams.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush, by the way, 132 receiving yards.
Well, how about that? Good for Reggie.
As a rookie, yeah.
Good for
the
him.
NFC Championship.
Give him his Heisman back. Did they give him his? They gave him his Heisman
I think
back,
so,
right?
yeah.
Good. All right, is that it? We good?
Yeah.
All right, let's get tubular.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
Just because this is fun, I just got this sent to me by the folks at Bet Online, and so that's an offshore book. That's not, it's what it is. They have look-ahead lines for the potential AAFC championship, for all of the potential championship matchups. So, just for funsies, if the AFC championship game is Bills-Chiefs, what do you think the line would be?
Bills at Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I will go. I might even say that might be a pick 'em. The Bills already won. I'll go Bills -1.
-1.5 for the Chiefs.
Darn it.
Chiefs would be 1.5-point favorites. If it's Texans-Bills.
-9.5.
-8.
Wow.
-8. If it's Ravens-Chiefs.
That's going to be Ravens. Okay, so that'll be -1.5 Ravens.
It's actually a pick. It's
Really?
a pick 'em if it's Ravens.
So Chiefs are favorites over the Bills.
Yep, but it'd be a pick 'em. Pick 'em against the Ravens. And then if it's Texans-Ravens.
Also 9.5.
You could have done it. Well, yeah, that's if you had done the math. It was a 1.5-point
Yeah.
difference. Yes, -9.5 is the number for the Ravens. If it's Eagles-Lions.
Eagles at Lions. I'll go -1.5 for the Lions.
For the Lions, -3.
Wow.
If it's Rams-Lions.
Rams at the Lions, then I guess it's got to be -5.5.
-6.5. -6.5. If it's Commanders-Rams.
That'd be a fun one.
Yeah, it would be a fun one.
Rams. No, Commanders -1.
Rams -2.5.
Oh, okay. Jeez. All right.
And Commanders-Eagles.
I guess you know who I'm picking in that one then. Commanders at Eagles. That'd be fun as well. Eagles -4.5.
6.
Wow.
6
okay.
is the number there. So there you go. All right, here's coming up tonight, totally tubular-wise. Only one local hoops team in action. Navy hosts Colgate, 7 o'clock on ESPN+. Australian Open continues. Tough night for Americans last night at the Australian Open. Hopefully that's different tonight because...
Except for Jess Pegula.
Yeah, but that was the one we decided we were rooting against her.
Yeah, that's what
so
I mean.
Like we didn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We wanted the other
you're
Americans.
Saying I hope it's another. You're saying I hope it's a better
night.
For Americans.
Oh, but
And I'm
Jessica
saying
Pegula doesn't play tonight because she played last night.
Oh, she played last night.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought she played 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
So okay.
Francis Tiafoe faces, and I'm going to butcher it. Fabian Morosan tonight, overnight. It's going to be a late one. I'm not going to be able to watch it. What?
I want to see if I can pronounce it better. Hold on.
Good luck.
I
just nailed it. Good luck. Good luck over there, Chief. If you're looking for others that you could watch tonight, Iga Swiatek is first up on Laver Arena. Emma Navarro, Taylor Fritz plays tonight as well. Madison Keys, that's overnight. That's a 3 a.m.er. Yannick Sinner's a 3 a.m.er. A big Italian.
Morozan.
No, mine was definitely better. There's no question. I don't know if it was right, but it was 1,000%
Fabian Morozan.
Ben, not Blake Shelton, plays tonight as well. So all of them in action at the Australian Open.
Is that what he goes by now?
No. Coverage starts at 7 on ESPN+, moves to ESPN2 at 9 o'clock. Big Ten hoops on BTN, Penn State, Michigan State at 7:30, Purdue, Washington at 9:30. The rest of the college hoops, find the show rundown at glennclarkradio.com. TNT and True TV, Hurricane Sabres at 6, Oilers Wild at 8:30, ESPN Knicks Sixers at 7, Warriors T-Wolves at 9:30. I guess like the Jimmy Butler went to Pat Riley and said, "I don't care what you say, old man. I'm never playing for you again." The whole thing. USA for Everton and Aston Villa at 2:30.
Just trying so hard to get people
to care until it's just never gonna happen.
The Wizards are playing the Raptors in 2 weeks, just because I like going to a basketball game at least at some point. And tickets for the Raptors Wizards game on it's Wednesday.
I mean, if they're more than $3, you're getting ripped off.
$1.
Yeah, I was gonna say
$1.
Now, to be fair,
and they're giving away a little tumbler.
Right.
They're
to be fair. I remember the year the Super Bowl was in Dallas. We got there on Sunday, and on Monday night, the Mavericks were playing. This is the Mavericks. This is Dirk is still there. This is still the Mavericks. They matter. They're playing the Wizards on Monday night, and I didn't care about the Wizards, but I wanted to go to a Mavericks game because we're in Dallas. What else we're going to do? And I remember going to the boys when we got there and being telling to Drew and saying dude, you can get in for $1. For the Mavericks, they're good. They have Dirk Nowitzki, and he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, all right, well, I'll go. So I went, and then I don't know. It's exhausting. Doing the Super Bowl is exhausting, particularly because when it's in the Central Time Zone, like New Orleans this year, those morning shows start at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. You're up doing a morning show, so you're just I'm tired.
Yeah,
I don't have any interest.
All these ticket prices are it's teens, single digits, $122 because the Lakers are in town.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
And then it's
what it is, man. What it is. And then TBS for AW Dynamite tonight at 8. Non-sports.
Yeah, we got a few things. If you're looking for Abbott Elementary and Shifting Gears on ABC, it'll be pushed back about 20 minutes because it is President Biden's farewell address to the nation on ABC tonight at 8.
I wonder what if I assume that he's going to have a closing musical number, right?
I hope so.
I hope he sings "My Way" by Frank Sinatra.
Adam Scott will be on Stephen Colbert. Severance season 2 is this week, I think. Yeah. And Ben Stiller also on Seth Meyers.
By the way, I did see a wild story. Apparently, the Village people are going to perform at the Trump inauguration because he always dances to YMCA. Right, yeah. Whatever. This isn't I'm not doing this for a political conversation. Apparently, they sued him for using YMCA. And then he won, and they were like, well, like,
we'll embrace it.
He won. I mean, if he wants to pay us, it's like, I guess. It's so weird.
Pauline Chalamet, who is
she's on the Sex Lives of College Girls.
Sex Lives of College Girls.
She's
on
so everybody kept telling me like this show is good, so watch it, and I was like, all right, I'll take a look at it. And it's Mindy Kaling made it, so like it gives you. It's
not.
It's fine.
You got a Chalamet in there though, so it's
right, and it is his sister.
Yeah.
Like that's legitimately his sister. By the way, did you see he's going to be the musical guest on SNL?
Yeah.
Like apparently playing Bob Dylan songs. Okay, Chief. Okay.
He's pretty talented. Okay, Glenn, I don't know if you know.
So it's not bad. It's a lot. It's doing the most.
The Sex Lives
College
Girl show.
And then it makes somebody like me feel creepy because then there's like, these are supposed to be college girls in their underwear or whatever.
Right.
Like, and you're like, is this okay? Then you remember they're probably all in their 30s. Like these aren't 17-year-old actresses playing the college girls. Like
Pauline Chalamet.
I don't know, but probably not 18 if I had to guess.
You would guess correctly.
Yeah,
She's 32.
32. Yeah. Nailed it. Like, so it's actually not like creepy in any way, but it gives you that feeling of like I don't know how to explain it. It's fine. I'm not giving up on it because but it's not as funny as you would want a Mindy Kaling show to be. Like, I like the Mindy Kaling Project. I thought that was a good show. It's more like sort of poignant. It's more like feministic, like, and that's all good. It's just.
Oh,
not,
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I hate that. It's just not for me. You know what I mean? Like for a 41-year-old man, I don't think I'm the target audience for this, or maybe I am the target audience. Like, except that women are allowed to have sex. Like, and I do. God bless them. I am so grateful that women are willing to have sex. It's just not that funny. That's the issue for me.
That's pretty much on Hulu and Freeform will be Scam Goddess, where Lacey Mosley will be going around. I think she had like a scam where you like highlight people like scammers, like people that like scam things in like small towns and stuff, and she made it into a show. And
you say so?
It actually looks kind of interesting. Big city cons across the U.S. from Ponzi schemes to religious scammers. I don't know. Looks all right. She's in that new show Going Dutch on Fox as well. So.
Oh, I do like. Wait, who is she?
Lacey Mosley.
Lacey Mosley, because I like that. I've watched 2 episodes of that.
Yeah,
show.
I liked it as well.
I'm in on it. It's
Dennis
not
Leary
like brilliant, but
no, but yeah.
Oh, she's just like she's not a main person.
Yeah,
in the
she's
show,
she's one of the I don't know sergeants, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
Love Island All Stars as well, season 2.
Oh, hell yeah!
On
I've been
Peacock.
waiting for that one.
Yeah.
That one's the one. Yeah, I like. Again, they're not brilliant. These Fox because I like Animal Control too, but they're pleasant. They're watchable shows.
Fill 20 minutes.
Yes,
easily.
Like I'm good with that. I don't feel the same way about the Sex Lives of College Girls. Like, they kind of waiting for. Is there gonna be a
You
point?
don't get it, Glenn.
I don't think it's for me. I think that's the reality, and that's fine. I'm sure it's for a lot of people, but they've got like 4 seasons. It's crazy.
Oh wow, it's been on that long already.
Something like that. Renee Rapp was on that show.
Yeah.
No, I think that's the only other person that you've heard of. Oh no, there's somebody that
because I do keep seeing like commercials for it, so I'm like,
the dad of Renee Rapp was somebody that I recognize. Now I can't think of who he is. Oh damn! It's somebody that's been in other things. Oh,
the dad in the show.
Yeah, Renee Rapp's dad on the show.
All I'm seeing is just the young people on the not Rob
of College Girls. Yeah, Rob. That's exactly Rob Hubel or whatever it is. Yeah. I did, and I knew him from other things.
I don't recognize
in.
any of the people on this.
Understandable. It's not really about that. Rob Hubel has been in other things, but I can't think of off the top of my head what he's been in. But I recognized him.
Crash Test. No.
Nope, that's not the one.
No, that's not it. Welcome. No. Miss. No, I don't know. I don't know any of these shows. I Love You, Man.
He was on The League.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
He's been in everything.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things, dude. Like, you would recognize him.
Oh, he's got gray hair now. That's why I don't.
Yeah, that probably is why you don't recognize him, right? Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff. I was like, hey, how about that? I know that guy. All right, very good. We got to go. Somehow the show that was going to end at 12, we managed to stretch out to 12:31. Christ. Talking about Rob Hubel and the Sex Lives of College Girls.
He was in Baywatch. How about that?
I did not know that. All right, thanks today to Drew. Thanks to Charles McDonald and the great Jim Nantz. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the
Can You Take Me Higher?
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. On the program tomorrow, annual tradition, Dave Ginsburg joins us to unveil his Baseball Hall of Fame ballot. I think that announcement is next week.
Yeah.
We just don't care as much because there's no local, interest in it. But there are some heavy hitters, obviously, this year, like Ichiro.
Is Adam Jones on there?
He is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to quite get there.
Why
CC
Maybe not in his
Sabathia is
first
this
year.
year, right? Who else is there's another Felix Hernandez, right? Is this year?
Yeah,
Orioles legend.
You said Ichiro, right?
Yeah, I forgot Ichiro.
Hold on, 2025.
I feel like there's somebody else. All right, whatever. Anyway, we'll do that with Dave Ginsburg tomorrow. We will make picks, and I desperately need to make a move. KZ will join us. What else are we doing tomorrow? Tracy Wolfson's joining us
Tracy
tomorrow?
Wolfson will join us, and Steve Weish will join us.
Steve Weish from NFL Network.
As well.
So busy show tomorrow. Thanks, everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Visit Hartford, Live Casino and Hotel, Cruise Maryland, Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, CIAA Tournament, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costas Inn, MSAA, Maryland Sports, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Navy Hoops. Go Francis TFO. Duke sucks.